But we're crossing over to Desi. You know, Desmond is also going to do something very important in our current dispensation.
Yeah.
The youth has shown so much interest in politics. First of all, social media has become rife. Everybody is on social media, regardless the handle you're on.
Yeah.
Whatever handle you're on, you have access to information. And most of the information we're having today is from government, either from the ministries or from parliament or from the courts or from media houses, discussions, everywhere. So everybody is now having access. If you think you can't hide.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
yes.
I agree.
And it has changed the terrain of politics where the youth is showing so much interest. And it is what has informed our decision today to engage or to have Desmond engage a section of the youth to have a word.
And it's still important because if you look at, for example, the 2024 elections, some of us who were doing analysis during the election, we're talking about the fact that there are key factors that go into people determining who to vote for. So unemployment is a key factor. Tribe may be a key factor. Religion may be a key factor. Where you are coming from or your orientation may be a key factor. And we have all of these coming together. If you are even a beneficiary of a certain system, all of them will come together to form key factors.
Yeah.
What people had overlooked intently was the youth.
Yeah.
Even though it's part of the key factors
Yeah.
people would consider. It's something that played out very, very, very much. And then usually you will do that analysis on the tertiary campuses. So you would have TAIN for the NDC, you would have TESCON, they say commitment without inducement. Also on the tertiary institutions. And those people who have just come out of school and looking for jobs. So they now formed a core of the voting pattern for the 2024 elections. And I'm sure that anybody who is interested in becoming a leader in either the party or the government system has to be involved with the young people of Ghana. So yes, that's one we are with you tonight. We are all for you tonight.
You know, in the amendments, I don't know, Desmond, if you have it, because I know you're going to take us through. I hear how our Comson also has an amendment proposal in there. So Obama has Obama.
I'll be looking forward to see that. I want to see that.
Good evening to you. Yes.
Right. I get that. So definitely we're going to get onto the screen right now and find out, firstly, the committee members, that are overseeing all of this, and then we'll talk about some of the amendments for this particular conference that will be taking center stage tomorrow. So let's get right into it and get to talk about the 9-member committee that was put together to oversee this. So the chairman of this committee, this 9-member Constitution Amendment Committee, you have Joseph Osei Wusu, the former deputy first speaker in Parliament, as the chairman, and then you have the vice chairman, Henry Nanabuachi. We saw him there in Asablekuma North. Yes. And also you have Alhaji Haruna Mohammed, who is a secretary to the 9-member committee. So this is the first set, and then we move on to the next set. We have here Dr. Charles Dramina is also a member of this particular committee. You have the Greater Accra Regional Chair for the party, Divine Otu Agoma, is also part of this, and Etwa East MP Abena Osei Asari is also a member of this committee. And then you have Jerry Aweshaib, member of parliament for Wejagbawe. He is also on there. You have Hajia Safia Mohammed also on there, and the youth organizer for the party, Salam Mustafa, is also a member of this committee. So there you have it, the 9 members that make up this committee, making sure that all the amendments, all the proposals that have come through are going well. So let me just go through all over again. Joseph Osei is chairman of this 9-member committee. Henry Nanabuachi, vice chairman. Alhaji Haruna Mohammed is secretary for this committee. And then we also have here Dr. Charles Dramina as a member of the committee. Divine Otu Agohum is Greater Accra Regional Chairman for the party. He is also on there. Abena Osei Asari is on there. Jerry Ahmed Shaib, Hajia Safia Mohammed, and also Salam Mustafa making up the 9 committee. Now let's move on and talk about the proposals or the amendment for this conference. And so we're going through some of them. I mean, of course, quite a number of them can. Okay. So what we have put together here for consideration, we have the election of presidential candidates. So says abolish special electoral college for election of presidential candidates. This is a very huge one, and presidential primary is to be held first after the expansion of the electoral college to reduce tensions associated with party elections at various levels. Also to expunge Article 39, which mandates the formation of a special electoral college to trim presidential aspirants to 5. And this is also a very key one that has been proposed to be expunged for this particular conference that will be taking place. For what I've read, the financial bit and everything, say, it's not important. Let's take this out. We don't need any special electoral college to do all of that. Also to expand super delegates or special electoral college system. So these are the pointers for the election of presidential candidates as we have on there. We're moving on to the next set, constituency executive structure. Constituency executive structure to establish a caucus comprising all current and past office holders of the party in each of the 276 constituencies to form constituency caucuses, and also to increase constituency executive structure from 17 to 31. From 17 to 31. Also to prohibit holding of specified government offices together with any constituency office. And yeah, I see the look on your face there. Prohibit holding of specified government offices together with any constituency office, and also to expand the list of delegates for constituency annual delegate conference. So you see this as, widening the net to get a lot more people to be able to be part of the voting process. Also, we have to maintain current structure at constituency level, but with the creation of additional positions created, that is research, deputy research officer, electoral or deputy electoral affairs officer, and also to expand current patrons and council of elders group from 5 to 15. Now, for the election of women's organizer, there is the proposal to amend existing regulations to allow all female delegates to elect national women organizer. Okay. So this is to open it up.
Specifically, that's the exact one.
Yes.
Okay. But I think that I don't know. I think
my
it's a very
producers were telling me they didn't hear. What I was saying is that is Mavis Howard Compson's proposal.
Okay, very.
And it says, please repeat that for me. I think
that is for the election of the women's organizer.
So every female delegate will now be, if it is passed,
yes,
it would now be every female delegate in the party would now be allowed. So whether you are at the polling station,
yes,
electoral area,
at all levels,
constituency level, or whichever way, it will not be for women organizers only,
yes,
and the people who were previously voting, yes, only.
It will be opened up to all female delegates.
Well, I think it's a good one, but we'll get there eventually.
Okay. And polling station executive structure to amend Article 6 to increase polling station executive structure from 5 to 11.
And what you said. I think point 3.
Okay.
Proposed amendment submitted by Honorable Mavis Howard Compson, former MP for Ewutu Senya East, to amend existing regulations for the election of the National Women's Organizer to allow all female delegates to elect the National Women's Organizer.
I think it's a very
The background is that the New Patriotic Party has always been a party well enhanced with the characteristics to relevance, effectiveness, and adaptability in an evolving political landscape. There's a need for our great party to once again show true to these characteristics. The current existing regulations concerning the election of the National Women's Organizer of the New Patriotic Party does not reflect the present day realities.
I think it's important because at least it will include, you see, we are talking about the youth. It will include all the very young, yes, women, young ladies, and if I can say girls also, who are coming up and are interested in the politics of the country to get involved at that level. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the national structure. All members of National Council of Elders shall vote in all national elections. The National Council of Elders shall also be an advisory to the National Council of the party or at all levels, including the flag bearer. Also, upon election, the flag bearer shall appear before the National Council of Elders for advice and input into campaign strategy and direction. Is it that they don't do that already? Anyway, the National Council of Elders must be kept informed of the content of the flag bearer's maiden speech. Also, the elected president must select ministers, chief executives, MMDCs in consultation with the National Council of Elders. Right. So those are the proposals for the national level. Yeah, at the national level. Very interesting one, and I'm sure we'll definitely touch on them. Let me quickly move on to the youth reforms, which I am really excited to have this conversation with the youth of the party. Now, says that to amend Article 314 to encourage youth and students to be committed to the party while still in school. Create a proper and well-managed fund to finance TESCON activities. I'm sure my dear lady friend...
That's important. That's very important. You know, I was just saying that the TESCON have, is it their slogan or mantra or however you would call it, commitment without inducement. And so they want the young people to be working for them, going around campaigning for them without any form of motivation. And that you are like a teacher or a nurse. Your reward is in heaven. What if you don't ever get appointed in the party and you go through? You finish school, you are looking to become... not necessarily an appointee, but to get a job. If you are a teen president now, and the ADC is in power, and you are not working with any recognizable institution, it makes it useless to
not necessarily. Let's be careful of how we trend on some narrative, because the youth today, already in secondary school, in university, are already thinking, oh, politics is a fast way of getting money. And we need to really be careful and change the mindset. Okay. It has to start with these student politics activities, so that they think more. I feel if you think more patriotic, Ghanaian first, even before becoming very passionate about a particular political party, it would mold your mind in such a way that you know that it is because I want to see my grandmother live a better life before she dies. Not necessarily.
Okay, but let me put it this way. It's like agriculture. Everybody, young people today, if you go to Israel, if you go to Brazil, you find young people inert. Everybody getting into the commercialization and value addition of agric. Because of why? They make it appealing and they call it sexy, making agric sexy.
Yeah.
What people think here in politics of our country is that you go in for corruption.
Yeah.
I am saying that if you are in Tain today, if you are in TESCON today, and there is no hope of you being able to join to change the narrative, and everybody thinks that, well, you finish and go into corruption, or politics is about corruption, we'll be doing ourselves the same damage. So yes, what kind of motivation are you giving these young people that are seated? And I know some of them may have put in suggestions for the youth part. Maybe when you get to them, you need to ask them.
I'd ask them whether they let's just wrap up with this. So to create a proper and well-managed fund to finance TESCON activities, and all standing committees of the party must have youth wing representatives. Amend Article 925(10)(2) to include the regional national TESCON coordinators and their deputies as delegates to attend and vote in the election of regional and national executives. Okay, so looks like for now they are not part of that process, and so this is to amend that article, and also to integrate the Dankwa Institute Leadership School into the party's strategic plan and annual budgets, and establish a leadership pipeline that links graduates to party roles. So that's what Akwesi was saying there. So these are the youth reforms that have been proposed for consideration to be amended, and we'll see how that goes tomorrow. So I'm going to engage my friends very soon at the youth corner, and then we'll talk about all of these that we've put here. So Annie, back to you, and then later we'll get to do the youth corner.
Right, Desmond, thank you. But hold on, because you're going to join the youth pretty shortly. Let's go to Abuchi. Right. So Obaya Amponsa Frimpong, she is actually the MPP branch chairperson.
Okay.
And she's joined us via Zoom. So let's engage her.
Right, that's fine.
And
That's fine.
and then move to the youth later. Hello, Obaya. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening.
Great. So good having you. And congratulations on your activity tomorrow, God willing. And we're always definitely with you. We'll be giving you the coverage. But how's the UK? How's the MPP branch in the UK?
Well, MPP, good evening once again, and to your listeners, your cherished listeners and viewers tonight. Yeah, USA is doing very, very fine. My team, myself, we are down here in Ghana for the activities of tomorrow. We are ready to look at the proposals, the ones that we submitted as external branches, and to see what we are going to be pushing as far as getting those amendment passed is concerned. So we are ready for tomorrow.
So, for point of correction, I'm told you are in the US, rather.
Yes.
You are in the US.
I'm
Okay,
the
great.
US branch chairperson. Yes.
Okay, great. So, I know you may have contributed a lot to all these proposals that have come in. I'm not sure where your interests were, when you are outside the country. What exactly did you send in, and has it been adopted? I mean, at least considered.
Well, as external branches, we have ideas as to how we can also better manage the party in terms of inclusivity, because we believe that inclusivity is part of motivation. When somebody belongs to a group and they are included in decision making at the apex of that organization, it helps move the party that we bring, the ideas that we bring, which are all part of what we contribute to the building of the party structures. So one of the things that, if you read Article 8 of the party's constitution, that's where the external branches are captured. But when you go down to 8.5, it talks about our inclusion on the National Executive Committee and then also on the National Council of the party. But it hasn't been spelled out in detail as to the number of representation that are to be on there for the external branches, because currently the external branch, we have 30 external branches across the world. So how many representation do we have on that apex body of the party? And so one of our proposal is capturing that particular area to have a representation which is continentally based on the proposal that we submitted. As we have regional representation, we are looking for continental representation on the National Council and the National Executive Committee of the party.
Right, but
also
Obaya,
when it comes to
if I may, like you said, the Constitution, I think articulates or something, has the external
Yes.
affairs, and then you have at the apex the external affairs director. I think in the person of Stunas, that's how they call him. For the regions, apart from the council, I don't know if they have any special recognition, and how exactly do you want to be represented? Because you're all represented by the executive committee, including the general secretary and the chairman. They are chairman for not NPP Ghana, but NPP Globe, if I should put it. General secretary, not for NPP Ghana, but NPP entirely. For you specifically, the external affiliates, you have somebody representing you who puts across your needs and your requirements to the National Executive Committee. Is that not the case?
Not necessarily. When you look at the role of Director of External Affairs, when we are not here, he helps in coordination of our activities, because his mandate falls directly under the General Secretary's secretariat. And so activities of the external branches, he is the liaison that flows between us and the General Secretary's secretariat. But in terms of decision making, we have to be part of that decision making ourselves. And so that is where we are asking for the once we have regional representation, we are also asking for continental representation.
But when there is National Council meeting,
to
when there
make
is a National
decisions.
Council meeting,
Yes.
people who have been chairmen before are allowed to come in the external branches. They are parts, and they are parts of the decision making at the National Council. Is that not the case?
No.
Okay, all right.
That's not the case. Yes.
Okay. So we'll find out and follow up on that.
So we are asking for voting rights.
Okay.
At that apex, even though, like I said, Article 8.5, it tells you that external branches have representation. It said that it has not been spelled out in detail. How many representation do we have in those two bodies outside of conference? That's what we are seeking for.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you.
And then the other thing has to do with voting rights. As it sits now, we have 12 voting rights per each external branches in all elections in the party. So if it's presidential primaries or if it comes to the national executive elections, we are also looking for more expansion, because over the course of years, I think from 2009, the external branches have been advocating for one member, one vote as a way to go for the party, because people need to be incentivized to want to continue to support the party. And so you don't wait to go into crisis before you look at how you are voting, how you are expanding your electoral college. So we were of the view that as of 2009, and we made a very strong case why we should move on to one member, one vote, because we are looking at how we can quell the monetization of our political system. Also, how we can be sustainable, financially sustainable and viable as a party. And to do so, if you are registering all members, members are paying dues, and your dues payment is also tied to whether you qualify to vote or not, because good standing membership requires has these requirements before one can be said to be a voting delegate. I think it will help the party raise its own money, be financially viable, and then also it will kill the monetization that has crept into our politics, that is more or less becoming disincentive for people to want to participate. Because if I have to spend millions and millions of Ghana cedis before I can contest for a position, because I have to be giving delegates money, I don't think that's the way for us to go.
Yeah.
And we are in an environment where technology is being leveraged to vote. And so can we look at that? If we are expanding and we think that assembling everybody to one center is financially, with things that, I mean, as you were talking to Richard Ahiaba, for example, you are making efforts to bring people here to Accra. So that means transportation costs has to be considered, hotel accommodation has to be considered, feeding has to be considered. So when you move into a system that requires that people will just stay at the comfort of their homes and vote, then you don't have to do all that. Then I don't have to travel all the way from the US to come to Ghana just so I can cast just one vote. And I believe that we have to look at all these as part of the reform that we are pushing for. So that is also part of the amendments that the external branches we submitted for consideration at this conference. And then another area too that we hope that it will find its way into the motions for tomorrow is to look at the way we raise funds as a party, because political party or democracy is a very expensive endeavor, whether it's Ghana or in the US or wherever. It is very, very expensive. And looking at how the two major political parties in the US raises funds, either is the Democratic National Convention or the Republican National Convention. Every single day, they are texting you, they are demanding money from every American or every person who has the right to vote, demanding money or requesting for money. So it's a fundraising thing. So can we look at how we structure the party to include fundraising as a key component of how we source activities of the party. If we wait till election time and then we want big donors to just bring big money and then it's over, then I think we are doing ourselves.
Right,
It should be
right. So, but I
small.
think that's
It should
it's a
be
very valid
recurring.
point.
And if it's recurring and you get so many people, it helps. It helps build a party, a strong party, so that
Yes.
one person or a few group of people will not own the party at the detriment of the rest of us.
Yes. So, Oba, thank you very much. I think that's a very valid point to make
But
there
she will
about.
hold on. She shouldn't go
Right, right,
because
right, right.
we are engaging her for a longer period.
Yes,
We just
yes.
want Desmond to
Yes.
engage
Get on the youth and
today.
come back.
So Oba, if you can actually listen in, we have some youth members in the studio who are also
Okay.
going to share their opinions. So I want you to be a part of it. But if you can introduce Prof.
Yes, but it's a very valid point she makes there, and it comes to the entire monetization of politics here in the
What we
country.
talked
And we were talking about the motivation.
Yeah.
There is also the aspect of the funding, which you had spoken about earlier. So I'm sure we'll get into all of those dynamics when we get into the discussion proper. But of course, Dr. Joshua Zato is in the studio already. He is a senior lecturer and policy analyst at University of Ghana, where the conference is actually happening. So it's happening on his land. He's left them, joined us in the studio to analyze all of the issues around the New Patriotic Party this evening. Doc, thank you very much for joining us. Good evening to you.
Yes, wherever they may be.
I hope you're doing very well.
Glad to be here.
And you have been observing the New Patriotic Party and their preparations and what exactly is happening tomorrow.
Not exactly, but good.
But just before we go to them, one question for you. There's been lots of issues with the party. People think it is breaking apart. People think that it's a time for to unite themselves. When these things come up, and see the cracks within the party, be able to put your things together, come back stronger and come back to the next election and maybe win. You're a policy analyst. You have analyzed elections maybe over the world and so on and so forth. Before we get to the youth, what's your point on that?
Once again, thank you, and thank you to all your listeners. Sometimes you have to ask yourself one very simple question. When we classically define politics as who gets what, when, and how, we are inherently saying that politics is built on conflict. Politics is conflictual. What you don't want is violent conflict. But the moment there's no violent conflict, how you get to make those decisions, who makes those decisions, has the power to make those decisions, are all sometimes based on conflict. It can be conflict over ideology, conflict over philosophy, conflict over methodology. But they are conflicting ideas. That is why we actually have what we call political ideology and political parties, because conflicting. Somebody can say he's a conservative, but then he's not just a conservative, he's a physical conservative. Somebody can say he's a conservative, he's not just conservative, he's a social conservative. Somebody can say he's a liberal, a social liberal. So even within what we broadly know as ideologies and philosophies, there are people, so you can talk about extremists, you can talk about moderates, all that is built on this concept of conflict. It happens. So when you see a political party having some of this, such a conflict, disagreement fights, it's healthy. It means that that political system that political party is a healthy political system.
Would you not want to analyze the premise and the passion on which these conflicts are arising, whether it's ideology, whether it's whichever way that you explain it? If the premise and the passion are to the extreme and maybe negative, it can cause negative conflict.
If you see a family, if I were to introduce my family, and everything in the family is perfect, you would tell me there's something wrong with that family.
I agree, I will.
You understand?
Yes.
So that's the point I'm making. Yes, and if you listen carefully, I didn't make the point. Even sometimes within the same ideologies and philosophies of political parties, you can have extremists, very far extremes. So they happen. The responsibility of the majority of the members of the party to see how you can bring everybody to the. So that is where the concept of ruling or governing from the middle of the center emerged. It emerged from that idea that every political party has extremes. But that you cannot give in to the wish and caprices of those extremes all the time. But that even despite how valid their ideas might be, it is the duty of leadership to try to bring people to the center. So we talk about governing from the middle, governing from the center. That idea presupposes that there's going to be conflict. What do you do? So guarding against extremism, yes, of course, you should. And you must. That is what leadership is about. No. So that's the general idea. That's the general concept. So when you see a political party that having a history down, you bring it down to Ghana, you realize that. If I ask you when was the last time you actually saw serious conflict within the PNC, you wouldn't know.
Yes, that's true.
Because there's nothing to fight over. If I ask you when was the last time you saw serious conflict within the CPP, you wouldn't know because there's nothing to fight over. But there's serious conflict in the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Party because if today you become the leader of each of these political parties, you've got 50% votes, you need one to be president. That is what is at stake. And considering the enormity of what is at stake, considering what is it that people want for, these conflicts must emerge. If you become the national chairman of the NPP today or any of the party executives, you have one leg in the Jubilee House literally. That means that the higher the price, the higher the reward, the higher the fight for it. So it is worth it for them to do that.
And it is necessary, you say?
Very.
Which
if you see a political party,
if
you see a political party that is like an ecosystem and you don't see this thing happening, then that political party is dead.
Okay, so it's true. They also make references to the NDC, but we'll come back to you proper. We'll come back to you proper and continue from there. But Annie, I think that we can now go to Desmond and.
Yes, we can actually.
Do we actually call them young people? I don't think we can describe them as
they represent a constituency,
right?
A political constituency. So definitely, it's the young constituency.
I think I know all of them who are seated.
Yes, but can you tell any of them is 50 years yet?
Not their age, but the level of intellect. I have had engagements with much younger people, and it's difficult to explain that these are young people. The level of intellect, the level of ideology, the level.
We beg you, don't.
Well, so
please don't underestimate our level of intelligence. The Gen Zs and our this thing, they are millennials. The recent ones are millennials. We have Gen Z.
Talking about the youth, and if you look at
the previous ones are millennials.
The age bracket.
Please, we are very intelligent.
For youth.
Okay.
We all fall under, I'm sure. Okay, not to the table.
I'm not a Gen Z.
Maybe you want me to tell you my age, but
no, not that.
Right. So that's one. It's all for you now.
Anyway, so I'm now seated here. We're going to have a conversation at the Youth Corner, a very important base for every political party. And just as I left the task, we're talking about the youth reforms that have been proposed, and I'm going to be speaking to three of the youth from the party joining me tonight. From my very far left is Mela Maxwell Edu-Techi. He is Deputy National Youth Wing Administrator of the NPP. Thank you very much for coming, Mela. And also in the middle, we have Rachel, our Deputy Greater Accra Regional TESCON Coordinator. I have some questions for her. And also, a brother I've known for a long while, Erwan Asiedu, and she is NPP Youth Organizer for a Brim constituency. And of course, he is a member of the Communications Department for the party, or Communications Office for the party. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Mela, you'd have to use the microphone. Yes, you could try that. And
yeah, I hope your listeners and viewers can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Right.
And Rachel, Aaron, good to have you. Good to see you too. It's been okay. So we'll be moving the microphone across, actually. Okay. So let me start with Mela. I've been told that you actually put together some proposals for this particular conference. Which one of them did you write?
Rightly so, Desmond. Good evening to your viewers and listeners. Like you rightly mentioned, we are youth of the party.
Yeah.
And we are considered as stakeholders, not just stakeholders, but we must have a say in the party as well. I keep saying that the 1996 theories are good for historical purposes, but there is a new approach. You just mentioned the Gen Zs, the Gen Ys, and all that. Now we must have a new approach, and for that matter, we must have a voice. So I made some proposals, and it was actually accepted by the Constitutional Review Committee. Okay. And we are hoping for it to be adopted tomorrow, God willing. And if it's accepted, it becomes part of the party's constitution. So, for instance, I touched on Article 13 of the party's constitution, considering our presidential elections where we allow just a single coordinator. If you go to the polling station,
Okay.
I have been a polling station chairman before,
Okay.
so I understand the party's basis from the polling station up to national. You have only 5 polling station executives. I propose that it should be expanded to 15 at least. And then that of the coordinator, the electoral area coordinator,
Okay.
we have just 1. And I also propose that we have to expand it to 5, actually, because if you look at the work down there, it needs more hands on deck. And you can't just use these few people to build the base of the party. At least you need hands to help so that, I mean, going forward, if you have these numbers across the constituencies, that alone on itself, it's a huge number. It's a chunk number that you are gaining more votes from, and also to help build a party at the basic level.
Basic level.
Yes,
Wow.
so I made these proposals, and also as a former TESCOM president of the University of Ghana, I also proposed that TESCOM should be given at least 5 voting rights instead of 1, because currently, if you come to the national elections, like you are electing national executives,
Yes.
you have only the president and then the women's commissioner voting for, let's say, youth organizer. You have the TESCON, and the women's commissioner organizer also voting for the women organizer front.
Okay.
So I think it should be considered. They have to expand it, give TESCON some voice. At least 5 voting rights should be fine. And I think it also help them and build the tertiary base of the MPP in our various tertiary institutions.
Okay, that's great. Now to Rachel, of course, Annie was talking about the proposal from maybe Sarah Kumsin,
Yeah.
and I believe that you have an interest in there being a female, that it's opening up to a
Yeah.
lot more females to be able to do that. What do you say about that?
Right. So I also send pleasantries to your viewers and listeners. And so, touching on that, I think I subscribe to the politics of involvement, politics of recognition. So people, if you look at the amendments, the list, there are a lot of people that are actually proposing that we expand our
Yeah.
electoral college. So if you look at the current one, FEA was talking about it. So the women organizer, the national women organizer, is voted by the constituency women organizers, the deputies, and WUCOMs of TESCON. So the whole country, the electoral college for women organizers is not even up to 1,000. I think it's a little bit above 700, 800. And looking at that particular number, it is not that much, which can encourage money sharing and all this vote buying that we see in our elections. So trying to expand the electoral college for the women organizer, I subscribe to what she actually proposed, that MPs do vote. So regional executives that are female. So looking at Greater Accra, we have a female treasurer, we have a female first vice. These people should be given the
Be able
chance
to
to
vote,
also
okay.
vote, because women organizer position is not really for only the women organizers. It's for the entire female
Yes.
body of the party. And so if we are going to take a leadership, or we are going to vote for a leadership, I think every female that is already a delegate should be given the chance to vote, not restricting it to only the women organizers and their deputies. So that is really a brilliant idea for me.
Okay, so just your initial comments, and I'll come back to you. So, Aaron, you have been at the base for a while, and everything that has happened over the past 8 years, and now talking about proposals coming in and all of that, what are some of the things that on the ground people are saying to Charlie? No, this thing before Teen Jam, before Adam. Are they all here, or there are more that you can share with us? You know, just on top of, or through conversations that you have had.
So Desmond, just as my colleagues have already done, I think it has been a norm with politicians. When you take a microphone, you get opportunity to sit behind the screen and you are speaking. You need to pay homage to some certain group of people. I am coming from the Brim constituency, having served them as their communications officer for the last 4 years and serving as the youth leader. I think it is only right that I pay homage to my good people back in Abrim. Abrim has some powerful 3 communities. That is Koti, Abuash, Wayemobo, the other one I will not mention.
So that's
yes.
Oh, that's what
let me say a very good evening to the Sisala man in the studio. I think I've been watching him and enjoying his discussions over time. Clearly, in 2007, the MPP was faced with these issues of delegate system. What was happening in 2007, which saw the election of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo over John Allan Kwadwo Kyerematen, was that every constituency had only 5 people voting in that election.
Okay.
So as of that time, if you were having, let's say, 200 constituencies, you were expecting that you expect about 1,000 people together with the regional executives and others. We complained about it because the MPP is a national party. When I say a national party, if you are looking at Article 55 of the 1992 Constitution, it demands that a political party becomes a national party. Across all the 276 constituencies in this country, there must be representation. Certainly 5 from each constituency for that person to elect a person to lead the entire party is problematic. And people were also complaining that since only the chairman and some 4 other people were voting, it led to what we call monetization in our system. And we now increase the number from 1 to 5 per polling station, which will be electing parliamentary candidates, and later all the polling station executive together with constituency executive, electoral area coordinators, regional executive, national executive committee, all these people will come together and elect the flag bearer whatsoever. The point is, it has even increased the monetization we were talking about. I decided to write an amendment when I saw my brother Maxwell had written it. Clearly, we've been learning together, so we share thoughts, and I saw that they are all rightly captured over there. If the party is indeed a national party, when we are broadening the base, we must be extremely careful so that we do not repeat the mistakes of 2007, which the said amendments happened in 2009. In 2009, surprisingly, our theme was RRR, rebuilding to recapture. I've forgotten the other. Reflect, rebuild, and recapture. Today we are doing rebuilding based on our values. I think it is only fair. But I agree with all the proposals on board, most especially with that of my good brother Maxwell Edutechi. But I'm only cautioning that tomorrow, as we get to the stadium to adopt these proposals, we should adopt an enlarged system that would rather increase the monetization rather than to reduce it. From when only the chairpersons were voting for parliamentary candidates, people will pick TVs, refrigerators. This is not only in the MPP. We see them in the NDC. I think we should have a proper conversation about this monetization whatsoever. Now, the point is, from 1, we move to 5 per polling station.
So now it means that
then the monetization keeps on increasing.
Okay.
So I think if we are increasing the base, we shouldn't just increase it for increasing sake. However, we should consider also broaden it in a way that will make the grassroots, the people, even in governance, when you pick constitutional law and all these things, when people are reading, this is that government or democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Let us properly engage the people who believe in the new patriotic party by enlarging the base to represent their view, so that the party would keep on being glorious. And I'm sure 2028, you should join us and vote for the MPP to come to power.
Aaron, a very interesting one. But one of the things that also caught my attention was that there should be a structure that helps in the funding of TESCON activities, right? And so the question is, I know you've been an executive, back in the UCC.
I've been a president.
A president, yes, president back in the UCC. The other name I won't mention here. So let me Alampai. Okay. How were you organizing your activities? How are you getting funds for them? Because it looks like it's never been there. And so how did you do that? All of that?
So let's see. When I took over as TESCON president in, I think, October 2018, back in the UCC, There is a due system in UCC, and I must applaud my executive together with our former patron, Mr. Bogene. A proper account was left to me. So now the point is, it is a matter of you increasing the membership and encouraging same to pay for their dues. So I didn't really struggle. And you see, most of the TESCON institutions shift from having a meeting rather than having rallies. They tend to invite a lot of people, and they don't have any conversation over there. When I took over, having a hindsight from my senior brother, one of my senior brothers was TESCOM president at a nursing training at Oda. I had my senior brother, currently the regional communications director for the party in Eastern Region, also serving as a TESCOM president in the University of Ghana. So I understood the system. I did not go the rally way. I sat with my people, presided over meetings. So when people like the Honorable Kwejo Ponkroma, the Honorable Mustafa Hamid, and others wanted to join us, they joined us as, let's say, invited members or ex-officials who have gone through the system of TESCON in UCC, and we break our meeting, allow them to speak and even contribute to the discussion. So I remember when the Honorable Samia Uku, Member of Parliament for Kwapem North, and Henry Nanabuache, then National Youth Organizer, came for my meeting, one of my meetings. The Honorable Samia Uku was so surprised because when he wanted to contribute, he needed to raise his hand as a normal participant of it. So in that instance, you don't rush to be moving around government appointees and others to soliciting for funds. If you do so, and the party is now in opposition, now when, let's say, a party official or a former appointee wakes up, he would not necessarily be looking out to be dashing out money. So how do you then survive? The due system is there. We were paying, I think, 5 cedis for the card, 3 cedis for, what do we call it, a dues per semester. So if someone registers as a first-year student and pays 8 cedis, imagine that you do a membership drive and you are getting 1,000 people to register. During my time, I was presiding over 10,000 membership. So how can I not be able to raise money? Just move and take money from the coffers, account to the people. In fact, for the first time during my time as the TESCON president, I was able to have a finalist dinner out of the coffers.
Out of that?
Yes.
So indeed, this coming through is just going to help more.
Yes.
Rachel, the ladies at the base, what's the name of the ladies here? The TESCON ladies?
TESCON ladies.
Yeah, TESCON ladies.
Yeah.
What's the conversation now as ladies of this party, seeing where the party is at the moment and trying to reorganize yourselves? When you meet conversations, is there a lot of disappointment and people feeling, or they are ready to come on board as ladies to rally around, all these proposals, all these meetings to make sure that they're supporting? Is this strong at the base? Let me just put it that way.
Okay. So, obviously, TESCON is a political fraternity.
I also meant loyal ladies.
Loyal Ladies is a volunteer group.
Okay, so that's a volunteer group.
Yes.
Okay.
TESCON has its own TESCON Ladies Club that operates on campus.
Okay.
Constitutionally backed. So, as all the executives, every chapter or every academic year, you have to produce your TESCON Ladies Club, launch them, and then they can get to work. And so I was saying that we are in a political space. Women, we have our own problems when it comes to politics. And so...
You have your own problems.
Oh, yeah. We can't...
What is the problem?
If we say we are going there, we won't finish. So that is also a topic on its own.
Interesting.
Yes. We suffer a lot of... There are a lot of parents that won't allow their females to go into politics.
Okay.
And so some are actually even hiding to even do it on campus. And there are a lot of stereotypes covering females in politics. There are a lot of things that we go through. So, but then there are still the people out there that have the edge to also contribute. I always tell them that entering into TESCON or going into politics on campus is not actually something that you say you are doing it for fun. It is actually something you are doing to also contribute to the development of your country. And so if you feel that you are just coming to serve, maybe we are doing a program, we need ushers. TESCON ladies, come around, let's go and usher. They just usher and then they come back home doing nothing. No. TESCON ladies are actually, we are motivating them, and then we are actually mentoring them to also take positions in the executives, and then also mentor them to take upper and higher positions outside campus. So if you are able to, I'll take myself for an example. I was a TESCON WUCOM in University of Education, Winneba. And so entering into university, I didn't even know what TESCON was, but I was interested in politics. And so someone actually introduced me to TESCON. I started normal TESCON business on campus. That introduced me to active politics. That introduced me to contributing my quota also outside campus. So when you come out from campus and then you're a female, what are you going to do out there? We start from the campuses, motivate them, mentor them, and then when they come out, they'll be able to also contribute their quota. And so there is an edge. So the mentoring is what is pulling them in. And then we can't say that it's all rosy. No, it is not all rosy out there. It is difficult to pull women into politics, even not on campus, even women that are outside campus, women that are grown, that are doing their own businesses. You see the potential, you try to talk to them to enter into politics. They will never do it because of those kind of stereotypes around politics, females in politics. But we are trying our best.
We're trying our best.
Yes,
so with that,
to rope them in, yeah.
Maxwell, so with these proposals, and we'll wrap up with this set of questions, we'll stay and then go to Akwesi and come back. So these proposals that you have put together, and then knowing, like you mentioned, you've been from the base to the very top. For young people who are looking at the party like, Charlie, nah, that's they go on. What do you say to them? People that are mentees to you, people that you preside over as a big brother to them, what do you say to them?
So, Desmond, before I even touch on that, you raised the question about fund
activities on campus.
And I think my brother Aaron actually nailed it, but he was fortunate to...
Oh, he was fortunate to have some money in the account.
Because...
we had a strong test
because his time, the party was in government. I was a TESCON president in opposition in 2016. So the narrative is quite different from his. You see, when you are in opposition, the party is somehow not attractive. And you wouldn't have a lot of students showing up to even register as members and will be paying dues. But as soon as you are in government, they expect that, well, after school, they will get some national service opportunities, they will get some places to work, and so it is quite easy when the party is in government. So I try to employ the youth organizers to actually be deliberate about how TESCON programs should be funded. You know, you cannot just show up as a TESCON president that, you know what, I want to organize these programs. It deals with funds. So there should be some funds or some deliberate efforts put in place for these, TESCON executives to be able to organize programs on campuses. And that has been a challenge, actually. And, you know, when you are in some bigger universities, like the University of Ghana, UCC, and other schools, there's this greater opportunity other than other schools, for instance, in University of Energy and Natural Resources, in somewhere in a nursing training college,
colleges,
they are not able to. For my case, I was even lucky because I can say the Honorable Samia Uku,
you'd have some alumni who come back
to the contributing hugely to my program. So I was able to have, some programs. But what about other schools in other areas outside Accra? What are we doing to energize these bases, to make them feel part of the party, to make the party attractive to them in their various campuses? Now, back to your question. I feel as a party, we are at a crossroad, and this is the time we need our youth to come together to help build the party. Because if you are sitting idle thinking that, well, we are looking up to someone to build a party, trust me, it's not going to happen.
Exactly do you expect them to do?
This is the time for us to pick up leadership roles. You see, people feel like, you know what, well, I am too young to occupy certain position. That narrative, we have to change it. Why don't we go in for those positions? As young as I am here, I want to be a vice chairman of our party, national vice chairman. Why? Because I feel I have the qualities to be the chairman.
That's ambitious.
I just wanted you to end with that. But, well, you could be ambitious, and
yes,
you
and
never know if is it not just about.
No, I mean it's positive for me. I'm happy about it. It's very ambitious, but I think it's time young people like these said that give us a space on the table. Let us be part of the decision making. So yes, it is ambitious. I'm looking at him as he's talking to you.
Rightly so. Rightly so, Desmond, because like I said, the 1996 theories are good for historical purposes for our party. But the approach, the narrative, now we have different kinds of voters showing up. These are young ones, and they don't understand whatever you talk about Adubuahin. They don't understand anything you talk about Kufuor. They don't understand anything you talk about Buzia Dombo. What currently they are facing with is the Baumia, is the Nanado. So there should be a new narrative about the youth, thinking that this role or position is too huge for me to occupy. So that is why I'm employing all the youth in the party to pick up positions and put themselves together in a way that we can handle the position. We have young ones. I just read in the news just yesterday that former 10th president of KNUST has been appointed on a board. That is what we need. The young ones must put themselves up.
So that's on the side position. Of the NDC.
Exactly. So what is different from us? Some of us may have even experience better than this person.
Okay.
So this is the time, as we are rebuilding, I will tell the youth that this is the time for us to help. I'm not saying we should push away our old ones. It's good to have them. But there are new voters in town, and the approach must come from the youth.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great. So you heard from Maxwell. Very interesting points there. And so Maxwell, Rachel, and Aaron will still stay with us. We'll go to Akwesi and Annie. I saw how Annie was watching on steadily. I don't know if she's got anything to say before we come back. But of course, you can let us know what you think on our Facebook feed, Metro TV Ghana. And also, we are live on YouTube. You can join us on there. Also, Akwesi and Annie, over to you. We'll come back to my people here. So they have their final comments before we have another set coming through. So, obviously, Anadi, over to you.
Right, Desmond, thank you so much for that insightful discussion. You know, like I said, don't underestimate the Gen Zs and the millennials.
I told you how they think and what they look forward to and all of that. I mean, they don't think they are young. Like some of us used to think when we were...
First of all, there's a problem with the Ghanaian society.
Exactly.
When they consider a person as old enough
to do something.
We have this phrase in Ghana, life starts at 40. One of the most annoying lines for me. At least not today. In today's generation, life doesn't start at 40. Children are doing wonderful things right from when they're born. And then when you zoom down, I don't even want to go to the general, the global outlook, but when you zoom down or zero down to the political party called NPP, and this is where I want Prof to probably come in.
Yes.
I think it will help the discussion that just happened. Yes. The NPP also has this mantra, I don't know if they accept.
We have the men.
No, bid your time. They have the bid your time, you have to join the queue type of mantra. And that is something different that the NDC does that makes it attractive for the youth.
I agree on one leg.
And so
I agree on one leg and disagree on another
The reason I was looking sternly was that suggestion of I can be a vice chairperson caught my attention, and I can't.
He wants to be a vice.
Yes, you can.
First vice chairperson of the new Patriotic Party.
Why not? What's the work of a first vice chairperson? What is it? Is it Janko Abuzi Adombo tradition?
If the chairperson is not there, he will be the leader of the party in the current constitution as it stands.
Okay.
If the chairperson is not there. So Miller wants to be the chairperson.
Okay. Obaya is still on of the USA.
And Obaya is still.
So, Prof, maybe you can come in I think it's
The youth having a
very-
space. Maybe we
Yes.
can having a space. That young man, he wants to be first vice, and maybe Doc, what do you think of that?
Once again, thank you. I think there's a general idea around not just the political parties, but it's a general idea that any organization or institutions that has to grow must be able to adapt. To adapt means that you must then be able to respond to changing or emerging circumstances. To adapt, that means that you must be able to, as we say, read the room and understand where the ideas are going. So for me, whenever I see, let me say, young people, including me, when we see us...
Including you. Doc, how old are you?
He won't be 50. I'm hazarding the...
Whenever I see young people, including me, reaching for the stars, I'm happy. Whenever I see young people aspiring for what to be, I'm happy. Whenever I see young people dreaming, I'm happy. Because it means that the opportunities that they have, sometimes people don't understand. I teach at the university, the opportunities that are in Lego now were not there when I was in Lego.
Yes, yes.
How people learn there is different from how people learn today. It means that because of how they learn, because of what they learn, they're able to do or achieve things that you couldn't have been done earlier. So yes, it's possible that the 2000 reforms, the 2008 reforms address certain questions. But now, the times, the circumstances do not call for, they call for a change. If you refuse to change, you become a dinosaur. If you refuse to change, you get stuck in time. And I'm using, for example, the CPP in Ghana refused to change. That's why today it belongs in a museum. The political parties that changed, that metamorphosed, that, can we say, mutated, are those that are competitive today. So yes, change, reform, adaptation are very important to survive in a competitive environment.
And even in the business space, you look at Nokia, for example, when Android phones were coming up, and they said they were never going to adapt. We see where Nokia is now.
Actually, I'm surprised you used Nokia. I would have gone with BlackBerry.
BlackBerry, it's also a very good example.
So the idea of change, but you see, the question is, you don't change for change's sake.
Okay.
You can ask the question, what is the value of the change? And as you can see, the value of the change could be that it's opportunity. The value of the change could be new ideas. The value could just be numbers. But change is important. Adaptability is important, and flexibility is important.
Look, let's come to the politics, the proper politics. And my point is that everything that the NPP is doing today and tomorrow, and the amendment that Desmond presented to us, lots of them, expansion of the Electoral College, the dates for the presidential elections, and so on and so forth, is an agenda towards winning the 2028 general elections. And we had mentioned some people perceiving that the party is breaking apart, others thinking that, well, it's setting a pace for a greater unity towards winning the 2028 elections. I would ask you, what do you see? Is the NPP positioning itself? I mean, right from now, the party's primaries haven't started yet, but we've seen the faces. We've seen Dr. Baumia, we've seen Kennedy Ohene-Japong, we've seen Dr. Brian Echampo, and then we've seen Dr. Edichun. We'll come to them. But is the NPP positioning itself to win the 2028 elections?
Well, there's a simplistic answer to that.
Right.
Yes. But you could say that, I don't think your question, you were looking for a simplistic answer. You need to understand something in life, it depends upon you see an opportunity, seizing it and taking it. The NPP sees an opportunity. And the NPP is hungry to seize the opportunity. This is how the NPP is reading the big board. Have a popular president who has dominated the NDC probably since the year
2012.
No, way before that, since 2008.
Okay.
He's dominated the whole of the NDC. The moment Professor Mills died, there's no other person in the NDC well marketed, well known, than the current president.
Really?
In fact, if you take the whole of the politics in Ghana and put it on a scale, His Excellency President Mahama is the link between the old school politics and the new school politics. When Nanado left, he left with the last of the old school politics in the NPP. When President Mahama leaves, he's leaving with the last of the old school politics
in the NDC.
So who are those that are going to be the future of the politics in Ghana? That is, so if you look to the NPP side, the person that is standing right now is His Excellency Dr. Baumia. The NDC doesn't have any such candidate. They don't. If you remove President Mahama from the NDC, you have rookies left.
You have
Everybody there is a rookie.
How?
How?
You want to
Why?
explain that? I was going to ask.
Apart from His Excellency President Mahama, no other member of the NDC has contested, run for full national elections as much as others. You could talk about the vice president, but I'm not going to. But
we can talk about the chief of staff currently. He has been with the president.
The chief of staff
on all of his campaigns.
The chief of staff has never contested.
He hasn't been on the ballot.
That's what I'm saying.
He's been with him.
No. You're not listening to me. If you listen very well, you'll get the point I'm making. There's nobody in the NDC apart from his President Mahama who has run for national presidency before or vice president before. It's he and the vice president. That means that anybody that's coming, even if it is a vice president coming, he's going to be running for the first time. That's what I mean by a rookie. Anybody they bring is a rookie. Anybody they bring is going to be running for president for the very first time in that party, in there. Okay. Now, we've all seen people run for their office in the first time. You have to just go back and look at it. You can start with J. Kufuor all the way up to now. We've seen what has happened. We've seen what first-time runners have done. And we've seen that in some people, it has taken them for 8 years for them to transform. And so now we see the transformation happening in our eyes. The MPP is reading the leaves, and they're saying that, look, whosoever the NDC tries to bring up will have to deal with these issues of introducing themselves to Ghanaians, and of getting the experience needed, and of trying to transform in front of us. So they see that as an opening. So if you're a political party and you see an opening, the question is, how do you position yourself to take advantage of that? That is what the NPP is trying to do. They're trying to hit while the rod is still hot. Get themselves ready, put themselves in a position where, one, look, political parties are most vulnerable when they are doing their internal primary elections. That is when you see them as vulnerable as anything else. And it's not here all over the world. And secondly, political parties are more vulnerable when you are changing a president. Again, if you look at especially countries where they have competitive elections, mostly incumbents win. Mostly last year, all over the world was different. Incumbents win. But they mostly become vulnerable when they are changing to the next person. So the MPP is also looking at all this and saying that they've identified the vulnerability of the NDC. And they're trying to put themselves ready for it. That is why you then see these reforms. One, expand the party base. MPP looked at it, have consumed, and they've consumed a lot of voluminous data. Data indicating that a lot of the MPP members stayed away from the last elections.
Yes.
They were not engaged, they were not involved. Who are those NDC members who were not engaged, who were not involved? Some of the people he's talking about. Former DCs, former appointees. A lot of national, regional, and local executives, elders, patrons who felt that the party didn't involve them because there were no candidates, there were no delegates. The party says, let's expand. The more you expand, the more you bring more people in, the more they get engaged. That's the first thing the party do. Deal away with the elite special delegates conference, this thing that you did, because it is an elitist thing, and that was done as a knee-jerk reaction. And that became a very powerful money-sucking thing. Deal away with it. Then move and give the party to a broader base of people. Whenever you are bringing in more people, whenever you are giving more people opportunities, it's a good thing, because at the end of the day, everybody has a single vote. So if you look at it from that perspective, the MPP is in a hurry to make use of an opportunity that they've seen staring them in the eyes. And that is why they are going down the route they are doing.
I think we have to engage Obaya. I think she's been online for quite some time. Obaya, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I think the same question you may attempt to respond to, where people have complained about the disintegration of the party, that looks like the party is going down. Do you think that it's on its right path? I mean, we have a long episode also from the doctor in the abroad, what's his name? I just want to make reference to it first, who has also written a long epistle about what he thinks the decision being taken by the party is actually putting the party on the right path. I'm talking in the person of Dr. Arthur Kennedy. Yes, for the sake of time, I can't read the whole, but the criticisms has been one after the other. Kufuor, who is an ex-president and a member of the party himself, has spoken on video and has indicated how he thinks that he's not gotten to a point where he is almost like a vegetable, for want of better expression. So his thoughts could be sought, but it looks like the party is treating him as though he's not in existence, not being consulted, nothing's being done. So is the party leadership actually on the right path?
Okay, thank you so much. I believe that anytime a party goes into elections and loses, a lot of things come to the fore that ordinarily, if they had won, those issues would have been brushed aside. So it's a time of reflection and doing a self-introspection to be able to understand the times, where we are. Because when you look at a population, for example, an African population that is very youthful, with the old facing away, how do you position the youth to take over going forward? What kind of leadership skills and training are we giving them so that they can better transition into the roles that we want them to play, to be productive in the development of the country? So when you put all that in perspective, and as a party, having commissioned a committee to do a review of what transpired or what happened, it starts to reason that we look at reforms. What can we do? Maybe when the Constitution in 1992 was put together, and having received amendments in 2009 and 2017, it's about time we look at the Constitution once again to be able to do needful reforms that could have a lasting impact in terms of the changing times that we find ourselves in. So it is on the basis of this that this conference is very important, to look at the reforms that is needed now. We're looking at the times we are in. What can we expand? How do we position ourselves to be financially viable and financially sustainable as a party? Because like I said earlier, democracy is very expensive. And if you don't position yourself where you can be self-sufficient, things will consume you. And under that, at that point, then you need to go back and see how you can be able to do that. Yes, MPP has had its challenges. Some of the challenges are self-inflicted, but definitely it is. There are issues that can also be surmounted if we put our minds to it and we are very intentional and strategic about it. When you look at how, as a party, and our relationship with our former leaders, for example, President Kufuor, from where I sit and my times that I have come to Ghana and visited President Kufuor, it has been very cordial. Where I see a lacuna or an issue more is maybe the relationship between him and government when we were in government. How did we use him, his rich knowledge, having been a former president, to be able to solve the problems that we encountered as a party in government? I believe that is where I see more of the issue than it is about the party itself, the structures of the party. Because per our Constitution, as a former president, he is part of the National Council, he's part of the National Executive Committee, he's invited to all meetings that are held within those structures of the party. In fact, in our recent Patriotic Institute launch, he was the one who was there to launch it. And so when you look at his activities in the party, and then the video that we saw, there is a disconnect. And it cannot, for me, it cannot be that he was talking about the party. In fact, he was probably referencing government, MPP in government, and how we're able to leverage his rich ideas to help us be successful as a party. Because having been there, certain hard decisions have to be made. And so if we were to go back to him, to run things by him at, behind the scenes, there's so many rich ideas he could have, he could have churned out to help the party in the running of government as against the party. But as far as the party is concerned, which I personally have been there with other members of the leadership of the party to him for a specific invitation for one event or the other. So in my view, I think maybe people have misconstrued what the conversation, and also because we did not get the full gamut of what the entire conversation ensued, but it is just a clipped version of the conversation. It can be misleading in terms of putting it out there the way it was put out there. But just based on what the proposals that have come, if conference look at those proposals very critically, and then look at the times we are in, considering the youthful population we find ourselves in Africa, how do we make sure that we are positioning the party with reforms that can last a test, or that can stand the test of time, and not be a knee-jerk approach to how we go about doing things that is not sustainable, and also how we can make sure that, like I said before, the money that was pretty much chipping away the goodwill we had as a party would be dealt with the proposals that we intentionally go to conference and say that no, we need to adapt this to help move us away from monetizing our democracy, so that people have ideas. But if those ideas, you need money to back those ideas to be able to do it, a lot of people will back off, even though they have the ideas to be able to move the country forward, move the party forward. They will stay back because the entry fee that they need to pay to get in, they will not be able to do that or commit to that particular. So let's open up. I believe in inclusion, because if you don't include people, then what are you doing? It's a game of numbers. So let's respect the numbers that we have. Let's open it up and bring more people in.
Right.
Because if people don't have incentive for why they should continue to contribute to the party or give off to the party, they will back off. Somebody has served in the party, has given it their all. The moment they are out of their position, then they become irrelevant to the structures of the party based on when it comes to certain decision making. Once you do that, there will not be any incentive. They will not be incentivized to want to participate, and then they'll stay back, and then it will hurt the party in the long run.
Right.
So I will treat delegates tomorrow as we go there. Let us go there with that conviction. Take bold decisions. Make sure that we are going in with the heart of integrity to do things that can change the course of history for a long time to come, rather than looking at knee-jerk approaches or looking at specific individuals' interests. One of the things as MPP USA we have also been pushing, which I believe, or I hope that tomorrow it will find expression on the motions, is that to look at even a two-tier system of elections in MPP, so that it's the contentions and then the issues that we are having presently, we'll be able to deal with it. And our two-tier proposal is that all structures of the party, from the national executive level all the way to the smallest unit of the party structure, which is the polling station, elections are held on the same day. Piecemeal approach to elections creates even more problems for us.
All right.
And so if we are voting one day for all officers of the party from top to bottom, or from bottom to up, depending on all the conversation that has also come in with top down or bottom up, I think we would have dealt with the whole issue of party structure one time, and then we all move on.
All right.
Because it will quell the monocracy, it will quell the after effect of elections. If people don't win, then they get angry, and then they are not ready to work with the other individual who won, for us to be able to go to the elections.
Obaya, we thank you. We thank you very much.
Those
We'll leave it
the
here.
Proposals that we have.
Okay, thank you. Obaya Amponsa Frimpong is the MPP USA branch chairperson, and she has engaged us for some time now. We'll leave it here with her and be grateful that she actually joined us from outside. Also, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, has actually joined us too, and Professor Smart Sapon, Director of the Research and Innovation at Kumasi Technical University, has also joined us. So Dr. Arthur Kennedy is also a former flag bearer of the party. Professor Smart, thank you for your time. Good evening to you. Hello, Prof.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I can hear you. I can hear you. Good evening to you. And also, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, good evening to you. Thank you for your time. Okay. I think Dr. Arthur Kennedy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm grateful for your time this evening. I'm in the studio with my colleague, Kwesi Afriye. So you've written a long something about the Delegates Conference that's happening tomorrow, and it's captioned the Misconceived Annual Delegates Conference. Why that title, and what message were you seeking to put across?
Well, the piece is self-explanatory. I think that it is not really about what the leadership seeks to do. It is how it is being done. I recall maybe these days I can read very well, so maybe I have forgotten about parts of the Constitution. If I recall, before having an annual delegates conference, you're supposed to have constituency conferences and regional conferences. Last time I checked, those things have not been done now. Secondly, if you're going to do constitutional amendments, I've been around a few of them. If I recall, you're supposed to actually, once you collate the proposals, put them in the form in which people are going to vote on. In other words, get constituencies the chance to look at the proposals, the way they will be presented, so that when they are sending delegates, they can give the delegates instructions as to how to vote, because the delegates are going to represent them. If I recall, that hasn't been done. As you can see, I listened to Obaya, and he isn't even sure about which of the proposed amendments will be debated tomorrow. If we're going by the party's own rules, by now everybody should be very clear about the number of those amendments, what order they come in. You should have known that, say, the proposal the MPP USA submitted will be proposal 1 or 2 or 10, and it will say this so that they can even by now call people and lobby for them. All those things have not been done. And then, of course, there is the rumors going about top down versus bottom up. It might be that they mean well, but it would seem that the secrecy concerning this, the contrived agency, plus the fact that normally these congresses are done right after major elections to replace leadership. Then after the new leadership is in place, we go ahead and do all this. And this have been since the time of the Rocha. So it will seem strange that all of a sudden this thing is being jettisoned, and in place of that we are looking for top down. It would appear, respectfully, that there are people who seem very eager to, in effect, place a flag bearer even before the party officers have gone for renewal of their mandates. So it begs the question about why people are so eager to do this. And this, of course, invites second guessing about whether they mean well, because it will seem, based on the party's tradition and our rules, that the first thing we ought to be doing now is electing new leaders first. Second, we need to be discussing how the party got to where it did. This party is not a private club that belongs to a few individuals. We've sent people like Mike Ukwe and others around to find out why we lost. And up till now, virtually nobody else outside the National Executive knows the content of the Mike Ukwe Committee. We know the reports of the Safu Mafu Committee and the other committees that were set up. It will seem strange that we cannot see these recommendations, even in summary form, since these were recommendations gathered after talking to party members, why are people afraid of showing party members what they themselves told the committee? It will appear as if there are people who seem to have an interest in controlling the release of the information. And if you put all these things together, it leads to doubts as to the intentions of those who are trying to plan this Congress. So my message was that the delegates should vote the party's interest. I believe that a lot of strange things are happening. There are a lot of people who are unhappy with our governance over the last 8 years. That is the main reason why we lost. I heard Obaya try to spin President Kufuor's opinions about the fact that he himself is being sidelined. This is a grown-up. When an elderly man who has been president before says, my party is sidelining me, we shouldn't be second-guessing him because he knows what he's talking about. And not only that, he has since confirmed his feeling of alienation in conversations with people in private.
Right.
So we ought to be looking at why that happened instead of trying to second-guess him. And furthermore, he talked about, oh, maybe this was the government using... Nana Addo was opposition leader for, God knows, 8 years, and he knew Kufuor. So why would it be that, was he consulting him before he got to be president? I mean, we know, for example, that Kufuor opposed the dismissal of Afuku, Kwabena Japan, and what do they call it, crap. But it went ahead anyway. So the lack of consultation and lack of inclusiveness, which I credit Obaya for bringing up, has been with us for a long time. And this party is on the verge of irrelevance if we do not address some of these serious issues.
Doc, let me just put in a few comments, and I don't know if you agree with me, but I seem to disagree with you on a few points, and I would make that very clear so you can comment on it. You talk about the procedure that they seem to be rushing into the Congress or conference tomorrow. They call it the emergency conference or Congress, which is coming up tomorrow, for which reason some 2 young men filed a suit of injunction. I don't know if you're aware that they have withdrawn the injunction based on the consultation and the explanations from the party executives. Again, I'll ask whether you are in touch with the party executives because they have been explaining some of these points, especially on the amendment. I have spoken to 2 constituency chairmen from the Ashanti region, and I can mention their names if I look for it. Today, just this evening, I think about 2 or 3 hours ago, about whether they have received, because I am aware, according to the Constitution, like you quote, that they need to receive the proposed amendments at least a month and go through and have consultations with the members of the party within the constituencies and the districts. And that they tell me they have done that, and that's why they have all traveled to Accra to converge at the stadium tomorrow and either pass, approve, or disapprove what is going to be read to them after the proposals have come. The party executives, according to them, say that they have followed due process, and so nothing is being jettisoned. Again, on the top-down approach, if I got Dr. Zato here right, the MPP, not just the National Executive Committee, but the National Council inclusive, have seen a gap which comes out of maybe a trend analysis of how when parties are in opposition and they see these kind of gaps, the fact that any candidate that will come out of the NDC will be a very fresh candidate because His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama will have his last bite currently as he is having. And so whether it is General Mosquito Esedun Ketia, whether it is Haruna Idrisu, whether it is the Chief of Staff or whoever it will be a very new candidate who hasn't been on the ballot paper before. The MPP may, and I'm using may advisedly because you are a member of the party, may be looking at the opportunity of organizing itself early enough, have a good enough time to prepare whichever candidate comes out successfully after January 2026, and use a person to meet up with the candidate that will come up from the NDC. Obviously, it will be at the latter part of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's governance. And so all of this put together, I don't know if you are in contact with the National Executive Committee or any member of the national executives to identify or to ask them some of these questions before your release come out. And I'm asking based on the questions or the points that you have put up.
I have been talking to people at all levels, and I can tell you that yesterday I spoke to people from about 2-3 regions, and they didn't seem to be as up to date as the Ashanti region chair people you talk to. Not only that, by this time in the past, I wouldn't even have needed to talk to a constituency chairman. Most ordinary people would have been aware of the details of the amendments. I'm just suggesting that, yes, these chair people you talk to must have been very well informed, but I don't think that is the general opinion on the ground. I stand to correction, but that is the impression I have, because as recently as this morning, I was talking to people looking for copies of the amendments, and nobody could give me one. So if you talk to people who have it, it sounds like it's been kept very close. Like, say, the way we keep our delegates list under people's beds and under people's pillows, when they should be public documents. Now, let me go to your top-down approach that you are talking about.
Doc, forgive me if I can, interject. Please allow me 1 minute, 1 second to interject.
Sure.
I have the document with the amendment. In fact, the full document, I think it's over 100 pages. And it's all over social media. I don't know if you have it, Ali.
Yeah.
So I have it. And
yeah,
I've
so
seen,
when did it get on social media?
Because I got it as of 2 days ago. And I had it not even from an MPP platform, from my journalism platform.
That sounds strange, because I am on about 2-3 MPP platforms and nobody could give me a copy. But I defer to you that maybe I wasn't diligent enough in my search. So
Fair enough. Please, you have the platform.
So having said that, now let me go to this top-down thing that we're talking about. We just finished a major election. Generally, per MPP's traditions and constitution, what we do first after the presidential election is that we renew our leadership at all levels. Polling station, constituency, all that. Then the new leaders, some of them who have been re-elected from the old team, doesn't mean anybody in the old team is bad. But then fresh off their mandate, they think of things to do, including the election of flag bearer. This idea that, the MPP is trying to put in place somebody who will be ready. Look, Dr. Bawumia was vice president for 8 years. If by that time any Ghanaian didn't know him, I don't know how many more times you have to market the same person for people to know them.
Okay.
I am just saying that all these are excuses. The Ghana Black Stars, which will be playing the World Cup in 2026, if you told anybody, we are already in 2025, that you are selecting the team this year, everybody will be like, isn't this based on current form if somebody loses form? And actually, that is also the way people do politics. For example, if you look at the US in 1976, Jimmy Carter was a newcomer who met the circumstances of the time. Because if they had chosen their flag bearer in, say, 1973, which is the equivalent, or 74, which is the equivalent of what people in the MPP will be trying to do.
Fair enough.
It will never have been Jimmy Carter, and the person will have been out of step with the times.
Right.
He was right on point because he was moral, he was a Christian. The Republicans had scandals. You can go as far back as 1860 with Lincoln. You can come back to Trump. If the Republicans are choosing their candidate in, say, 2021 or 22, it never would have been Trump. Because at that time, he was mired in court cases and all that. So I'm just saying that there seemed to be undue haste in trying to pick a candidate we want to hoist atop a weak, demoralized, discredited party.
Doc, let me allow. Dr. Zato is a policy analyst. I am only a host, and I am interviewing you, and I'm interviewing him too. But he can analyze it better for us. And he's been listening to you. I would want to pick his view on some of the pointers you've made. And Professor Smart Sapon is also online listening to you. I'll go to him again when Prof. Zato is done. I'll go to Professor Smart Sapon and ask him about some of the points that you raised. But when I come back, I'll ask you if you support any of the candidates that have shown face so far. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, your statement suggests to me that you may not be necessarily, maybe I may be judging wrongly, but you may not necessarily be supporting him.
You are judging wrongly.
So I'll come back to you. But Dr. Zato, let's hear from you. He's made a number of points, of course, all around tomorrow's conference.
Yes, and I listened to him, and so it's difficult, one, to understand not just what he's saying, but what is the value of what he's saying. What exactly does Dr. Atta Kennedy want? I asked that question because since 2008, when he led the MPP campaign, I've never heard him say anything nice about the party that he claims he loves. Akufo-Addo lost, and for 8 years in wilderness, Atta Kennedy was one of the most withering critics of the Akufo-Addo administration.
Chasing the elephant into the bush.
He was one of the most withering critics of that administration. But never lifted a hand to help the party he claims he loves so much. Then MPP came to power for 8 years. Again, one of the loudest critics. Forget about the NDC. In fact, the NDC didn't do as much as he did, criticizing the party again that he claims he loves so much. For the 8 years that were in power, he did nothing. He didn't raise a finger. I've never seen. Anytime I'm reading or hearing about Atta Kennedy, he's tearing down the party that again he claims he loves so much. Today, the NPP is out of power. So maybe you were alienated when Akufo-Addo was in power. Maybe Akufo-Addo didn't like you. Maybe Akufo-Addo hated you. Akufo-Addo is not in power now. The party is open. Again, I've not heard all he's saying. Proposed 1, 2, 3, 4 amendments, things that he thinks that could help the party that he claims he loves so much. So suddenly ask yourself, with friends like this, who needs enemies? When you are at the Kennedy and you are now, look, you said the party on the verge of irrelevance. And then you say, based on what? Parties lose power. You go to the United States of America, the Democrats have basically been washed out of everything in Congress. But even Trump, in his most outrageous, cannot say the Democrats are most out of irrelevance. Voting has cycles. People come. To then say that the new Patriotic Party is almost on the verge of irrelevance because they've lost an election massively without any document to support it becomes, for me, serious, complete, it is ingenious. Then you also ask the question, did the party is weak and demoralized? Of course, the party has to be weak and demoralized because they just lost an election. No, I'm talking about what he just said, not what he wrote. Your
mic is actually off. So okay.
Well, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. So I was actually saying that I'm trying to quote to you some of the statement he's captured. And in one line he says, our journey here began with handing over the party to one man and permitted him to do as he pleased. He took our mandate and delivered to Ghana a government centered largely on corruption, nepotism, and arrogance. These acts of corruption, not seen since the Kalabule era, were rightly described by John Salisbury in the Polycraticus in the 12th centuries as acts done publicly, and neighbor governors nor check them, because the raven rejoice in the works of the wolf, and the unjust judge applauds the minister of injustice. In lands whose princes are infidels and companions of thieves. That is how strong.
I don't even know what it means. I don't know what it means. I've just told you, nobody handed over the party to Akufo-Addo. He won at the Congress. The delegates of the party gave the party to him. He contested. He won on merit. And that's what I'm saying. When you're making such this bellicose announcement, and I'm saying, what is the value of it? Okay, despite all that, Akufo-Addo stayed in opposition for 8 years, right? Ghanaians rejected him. He kept going at it. He kept doing what he's doing, going back for but they gave him a mandate, 2028 up to now. He did his 8 years left. Maybe you 8 years, you are not happy with his administration. Again, hey, take a line, join a line. Okay, the guy is out now. You have what we call a window of opportunity, a policy window, to now reform the party that you love so much. Do not say, now, the party went to, the parties, apart from Congress, is the National Executive Committee and National Council. They went there. Did you submit any report to them? Did you submit any proposal? Did you attend it? I'm trying to talk about somebody. If you love the party so much, what did you do? Did you lift a finger to fight? Did you lift a finger to suggest something? Did you go? Did you send something to the National Executive Council to say, look, you're having a meeting to suggest this. This is what I think you should do. Did you do that?
And not just the condemnation.
Yes, because it's okay. We can all do that. Hey, I do that for a living. I talk every day for a living, right? I don't need to lift a finger. That's what I do. That's probably what you do too.
I do same.
Did you do that? Did you submit a single report to the national and say, hey, guys, we've just had a humiliating defeat. I still love this party. When Akufo-Addo was there, I wasn't part. They removed me, or they didn't consider me. I'm not there. Okay, now we have an opportunity. I'm coming back because I love the party. Here are my suggestions. 1, 2, 3, 4. So add it to this. Because unless you are telling me that the whole of the National Executive Council or the whole of the National Council should defer their decisions or their ideas to one man. Come on. Because you are what?
No.
I'm not, because sometimes it's important to do this. It's important to do this.
Okay.
Unless that's what you're saying. Because unless you're saying defy the constitution of the party says that apart from Congress, it's the National Executive Council that's the higher decision-making body. And it's made out of people from all over the country. They met. Did you send them a proposal? Did you send them a suggestion? Did you say this? Look, His Excellency President Kufuor has every right to say what I want to say in the MPP. Yes. No other human being I can say has the right to say that. When the MPP was nowhere, he was the one who taught the MPP how to win.
Yeah.
He has the right to say whatever he said. So I will never even try to go to bed. Not you. Look, my point is this. As somebody once said, if you have friends like this, then nobody needs an enemy. Look, political parties that survive are those that are able to see an opportunity and take advantage of it.
Yes.
Look, when the NDC lost in 2000, they did something smart. The NDC had two options. They could go the CPP option, live on past glory. If they did that, the NDC wouldn't have been what they are today. They had a second option. Forget the CPP
past glory.
And metamorphose, mutate. They did that. It was hard. And look, they did reforms. They removed Jerry John Rawlings as the leader. They had two chairmen. They removed them. The NDC put itself through the grill. They suffered because they wanted to say that, look, you want to be the president, win on your merit, not on the merit of Jerry John Rawlings. It took them this stuff and they won. Today, as a result of what they did, the NDC has cannibalized the CPP and cannibalized all the left of the Ghana political party to become the most formidable. When this country was built from left to right, left was CPP, right was UCC. NPP is still standing. It means NPP is doing something. That's why they are still standing as the forebearers of the right of the Ghana political system.
That's true.
So parties lose elections, they lose. My point is that today you have an opportunity. If it was if Akufo-Addo was your problem, he's no more. If Bawumia was your problem, he's not more there.
Yes.
So what have you done? What are you doing? It's not okay for us to sit down wherever we are and just look at what they're saying. Then say that okay, the whole decision of the National Council.
Right.
It's not right.
Right. Let me go to Professor Smansapon. Professor Smansapon is the Director of Research and Innovation at the Kumasi Technical University. Prof, you had done a research, and I remember when we hosted you here in the studio in the run-up to the 2024 elections, you had mentioned that whoever would win would based on the turnout. I remember clearly the turnout. If the turnout is low, it will not favor the New Patriotic Party. But if it is high, it will favor them. Now, this is where we are. The New Patriotic Party has lost the elections. It is reorganizing itself towards the 2028 general elections. Of course, the primaries would come up first. I don't know if you listened to Dr. Arthur Kennedy, and you have listened to Dr. Joshua Zato as well. And then I'll add up the question whether all the NPP is doing, and especially the amendments as quoted, including those one on the youth, including those one on the expansion of the base and so on and so forth, whether it is actually preparing itself for a win 2028.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an insightful conversation. I've been enjoying myself listening to earlier speakers. Obaya spoke, my senior uncle, Arthur Kennedy Doctor spoke, and then my colleague, Dr. Zato. I've been enjoying it. My take is that the two major political parties, MPP, NDC, must learn from each other. In fact, from what I have heard from seniors in this industry, the NDC at a point had to go through or take the constitution of the MPP to inform some amendments they were doing in their constitution. And so if you can see their plan, the pentadactyl plan appears to be the same, only nomenclature differences. So one will say mine is a polling station, the other says it is a branch. One will say mine is an electoral area, the other says it's a ward. But you see the structure, mimicking each other. So we must learn, political parties, especially the two major ones, must learn from one another. And in making this comparison, I can say that the NPP has to learn a lot from the NDC in how they manage elections defeat. All right, they must actually learn how to manage. Dr. Zato has mentioned the transformation from the John Lawrence era into this era where we all say the NDC is more formidable, not revolving around a single individual and all those things. So some lessons must be learned. And sometime 2016, 2017, around this time, what did the NDC do when they had at that time lost with what would have been the highest margin ever in our history as at that time? You realize that they quietly formed a hedge around His Excellency President Mahama. They tried to unite. In fact, the person who tried to contest President Mahama got, I think, 5% or so. President Mahama got almost 94 or so percent in that election, telling you that, yes, not that the NDC enjoys elections defeat, but they quickly get awakened by the fact that, hey, loss might come in the night, but joy comes in the morning. Let's put this behind and then organize ourselves and move. And in organizing yourselves, you must actually put aside interests and then try to unite. What is lacking, the basis of all this confusion in the MPP, seemingly confusion in the MPP, is the absence of unity. And one thing with unity is that it is not procured. In fact, no matter how somebody comes to beg you to join, to unite, it will not be organic, it will not be real until you, the proponent of love for the party, decides that, oh, whatever it is, let me put my interest aside and join. In fact, while you are with them on the table, you can bring up all your suggestions and all those things. So all those things, all those people sitting at the back of the table, behind the room where the conversation is going on, and throwing comments into the room, throwing them through the windows into the room, they are not helping. They are really, really not helping the party. And sometimes we get some people who were actually around the table coming out to throw some dust into the, as if they were not even around the table. And if you come and throw those jabs while you were at the table, what are you insinuating? Are you saying that except you, all others who were around the table do not love the party, or you are the only one who loves the party? So you see, they are mature people. I don't intend advising them, but parties get to this stage where they are. Is it only the MPP that has lost elections? And who told you those who won election presented perfect people? President Kufuor is always our reference. However perfect President Kufuor was, he needed what they called at that time the Great Alliance to overpower Professor Mills. No matter, however perfect President Kufuor was, even him, with all the unity of purpose that the MPP procured, that positive change agenda, he still, to cross the 50% mark, if you remember, he needed the PMC, the CPP. I remember that song very well. Alliance, MPP, and Shira. They had to, you see. So that thing, the MPP is taking a longer time to procure, would prolong their recovery process. And I will expect these mature people to come together and then see the need to unite. For example, when you say this is our tradition, and I've heard it from many seasoned NPP people, our tradition, our this, our that. Is the NPP tradition a static tradition? Is it not amenable? Is it not flexible? Is it not a living tradition? Is it not a tradition that can grow, that can adapt? Is it a tradition that says that always this is how it should be done, irrespective of reality of times or need for change? All right. So those who are talking that this is our tradition, always we do this, before that we do this, it is fine. It's a tradition that has kept the party for some time. But if we use that as a basis to criticize or chastise a national council who also are well-meaning, just like those other people criticizing, then we are making it look like it was supposed to be cast in stone and that they didn't have any power as a council to alter it. It is our tradition. And we all know what goes with attitude. So if I was an MPP elder or a stalwart, what I would have said, even if I disagree with the council, would have been that, oh, this is council. Their decision is binding. Let's all come together and help them and see whether there is some light at the end of this tunnel that appears new to our tradition. Together, because it is the unity that will procure the victory. If you go bottom up or top down or whatever amendment is accepted or rejected, and you still don't come together, irrespective of the tradition and the style and whatever, you would not still make it. So the conversation has been heard left, right. Everybody is justifying his own. What I am thinking, and I think is the core. It comes as the core of the conversation. The NDC did it. They did it well to the extent that there was unity. Those who tried to go attacking President Mahama for leading the party into disarray after 2016 election and all those things. You see how the unity, the united majority, forced them to stay in line. To stay in line. And they did that very, very brilliantly. That I think the MPP.
Just a quick one. I want to engage Dr. Arthur Kennedy for a moment. Doc, if you're still there, can you respond to us so that we know you're still there?
Yes,
okay, great. Doc, so first of all, I know I've heard criticisms about the fact that you're no more a member of the MPP. Are you still a member of the MPP? Secondly, did you get the chance to send proposals, even though I know you are so much against this arrangement of the conference? Did you get a chance to speak with executives and send some proposals across? And Professor Zato, Dr. Zato has also mentioned that he is at sea as to what you really want. He doesn't know what exactly you want, because your continuous criticisms and tearing down the party has been for the longest, and he's not sure what exactly you're looking for. Hello, Doc.
Doc, can you hear?
Dr. Arthur Kennedy, can you hear us? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, yes, Doc, can you hear me now? Hello, Doc? All right, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, let me try once more. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay. Okay, I guess let's allow Dr. Zato to.
So because we would allow Doc to leave us in a few minutes, I think that, Doc, if you can allow us, let's hear from our young people also.
I don't think they will mind. They can just let me make my
if they won't. So you can allow Doc to round up before we come to you. So, Doc.
No, you see, what I'm trying to, at the end of the day, this is the point I want to make.
Yes.
It's okay to criticize one's own party. Mm-hmm. It's okay to say, sometimes it's good for the reflection to come from within. Mm-hmm. And you've heard them. Look at these young people. They have criticized their party more than anything else. They are doing it from a place of love, from a place of care. And if you see that they all want to see the party get better, that's why they all get involved. That is the kind of thing you see. Because look, you've lost an election. They can all tell. I'm sure if you gave them the whole day, they can tell you some of the woes and pathologies of their party. But if you hear it, they are coming from a position where they want to get better. And they've told you that some of the amendments, they've said they love them. Maybe they will not get all the amendments they want. Maybe they would have loved more. They would do it, okay? But there's something, if you just sit back and look, if you let's say you just come and say, okay, what is the basis of this amendment? What did they want to get? It's expanded. They just want to have more people to vote. At the end of the day, watch carefully. That's all they want to do. They just want, and that's what I'm saying. If the ultimate objective of your amendment is to get more people to vote, then it's good. I will take it any time. Just take it for that, because see, you go to a polling station, there are only 5 delegates, polling station executives. Just opposed to, I think the NDC has 9 polling station executives. So what can happen is that, if you just look at an election day, the NDC can send 5 people to go and police the polling station. NPP sends 5 people to go. Then NDC still has 4 extra people to go around and bring votes. You have nobody to leave. So if nothing at all, if you are even matching them, I'm saying just as common, because it's common sense, right? If the NDC is going to bring people to vote, they are bringing these people to vote. It's just common sense. So I'm saying that any time you look during their campaigns, you will see a former party chairman sitting down like, today the president is coming here to campaign, like, I don't know. You've seen it. So if the parties, and you heard Professor Sapon just say something, if there was high voter turnout, the people who did not vote, who did not turn up, felt alienated, felt ignored. Now you are trying to bring all of them back in. So for me, if you just take, even that was just the only thing, there are 2 things that I'm happy about. If I look, when you had the special delegates to prune down the number, it was elitist in my view. So any day, anytime you get it down, I'm happy with that. 2, if you now are bringing in more people, it's a good idea. And that's good. Now, I'm not expecting as a political party, remember I started by saying political parties thrive on conflict. I'm not suggesting that you should all like them. I'm not saying that. But then you could say, if you can say, okay, look, any reform you are doing, you see how much you can get and how much you can get. If there's a majority, if you are expanding access, if you are bringing more people, you'll take it. But if all you want to do is withering attack of your party from, again, when they were in opposition, throughout 8 years, they came to power. Another 8 years they are now out. What at all do you want? What should the party do? Right. And again, you said something that is very important for I leave. The National Executive Council met. You don't love the party more than them. I don't think everybody there supported all the ideas they said. No, they sat down, they judged, they discussed, and they came to either to a consensus or not. My point is, you cannot say that you love the MPP more than the National Executive Council or more than the National Council. No. And finally, you cannot say you love the MPP more than the National Delegates Congress. You were saying something about the proposals. They sent it. Everybody has it. They are even, as I say, literally flowing on social media, literally flowing. There was maybe in the olden days when messages and this were not there, maybe you had to literally carry them physically, walk around and show to people. Now we don't do that. Everybody reads things on what? On their platforms. And you are saying every single platform in this country has a copy of this. So when members there, look, there are some of the police executives who, let me say, cannot read and write. So it doesn't matter whether you carry 20 copies, they can read and write. It's on the platform, those who can read and so the ways of disseminating information has changed tremendously. And if that is the case, then you come in and say that, look, this wasn't.
Maybe he's not in tune with time.
But exactly. So if you're not,
it was a reason he was asking on platforms. He probably doesn't have access to the platforms.
But those that I'm telling you that almost every first, as soon as they finish, they send it to every constituency. The constituency. See, nowadays it's so easy. All constituency secretaries in the party have one platform. Chairman have. So anything, you just drop it there. People do. So if you now sit down and say that and you are that important, you don't.
Why do you want to compare?
Yes, you are a constituency.
Because you see again, no, I'm not the one comparing. He is. He's telling you.
Let's have your mind.
No, I'm not the one comparing. He is telling you how important, how big he is in the party. He did. It's not me. He was once the national communications campaign of the party. He's telling you that he is huge in the party. I'm not the one saying it. He says he is. I mean, nobody.
Aaron is an executive.
Exactly. So that means that, look, you see, it means that we could just.
You're not appreciating where I'm coming from. I'm saying that even though Dr. Arthur Kennedy has held a very sensitive position, and even been a party flag bearer hopeful, this is not his time. He's not on the same level with.
I can't say that. I don't know that.
Come on.
I cannot say that. No. I cannot say this is not his time. I cannot say that, and I cannot say it's not the level with them. All I can say is that sometimes when you can fact check somebody in real time, it becomes dangerous. Here you are saying that people have not seen it, executive have not seen it. Here's an executive saying that I have a copy here. So what platforms are you on? That's the question I'm saying. When somebody
Yes, maybe he's on platforms that don't have.
Yes, so the question then is, okay, so the people are telling you that it's on all the secretary platforms, it's on all the chairman platforms, it's on all the women organizer platforms, it's on all the this and that is how it is. If you look at the way the parties run, the national executives mirror the regional executives, who mirror the constituency executives, who mirror the policy executives, and all of them have platforms that it just goes directly to that. So all the organizers in the party seems to respond to the national organizer. And they have their platforms. So if it is on these platforms and they go, I know people, some of my brothers, some of my sisters in the constituencies, they are not, some of them or the policies may not be literate. So it means that even if you carry it today, they cannot read. They will still depend on those who will read it on their floor to tell them what it is. Look, at the end of the day, political parties need fresh idea, good idea. You have people here sitting now expressing those ideas, telling you their successes, telling you their frustrations, their woes, telling you what happened, what they got right, what they go wrong. And aspiring and hoping that the things go well. That is how you know that you're on the right track. For me, the period of lamentations, look, you have to lament. The period of lamentation should be over. And if you love the party, you can then say, okay, stop enough of the lamentation readings. Now let's come together. And the party is doing that, as I've said. If you see an opportunity and you don't take the opportunity, it may never come. Opportunity here is that the president is leaving, there will be a vacuum created, fill that vacuum.
Exactly.
Thank you, Doc. So Dr. Zato is a policy analyst with the University of Ghana. Thank you very much, Doc. Yes, I think now we can allow you, and I will be following you very soon. So I'll be
Thank
exiting
you for speaking with us. Thank you.
Also, what is going to happen is that, so the interest is going up. A lot of the young people in the NPP want to join the conversation. We have some more people who will join.
Yeah.
So I think we would have maybe my seat and then Doctor's seat for you. And then we can get them to join the conversation so that we use that to round up. And maybe, Desmond, you may have to vacate your seat also. You are the host, so you can walk around. You can stand so that we can get the other young people in. Then you would.
Oh, are they in the studio now?
Yes.
So they want to come in.
So you are going to be on them, then we get the other people on. So you would have me out. I will be monitoring from the control room and then also.
Oh, no, that's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible.
Right. So let me just wrap up with my people here. They followed all the conversation all through, and I know they're eager to speak. And then wrap up, and then we can have the other sets come also and continue the conversation. You have the microphone, Bella. I know you've been trying to interject and say a few things. We've got a few minutes to go. Kindly put everything together on what you had so far and what your expectations tomorrow.
Well, Desmond, the little that I would have to touch on is. I said that this is the time for the youth and everyone who actually has the interest of the party at heart to come together, for us to come together and rebuild like we are all doing. I don't expect Dr. Arthur Kennedy and the likes to still hold us back. We have the lamenting and the venting stage. I think we should go past that as a party. What is the way forward? What are the ideas that we are bringing on board to rebuild the party? That is what we need now as a party. We don't need this, trying to draw us back and trying to remind us. And like I said, those of us maybe who started doing politics quite early may know him. But currently, the youth in NPP have no idea even who he is.
You could definitely disagree with what he's put out.
Exactly.
So we could just move
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to dispute whatever he put out. He's just trying to put out a wrong narrative and trying to make the party be in a certain position which will not attract people. And that is what I'm saying, that this is not the time we need such things. We are moving forward as a party. We are putting our pieces together so that we rebuild and recapture power. That is what we need. I mean, he was supposed to send a proposal. He couldn't do that. We, the young ones here, we have done that. And because we want to see the party moving forward, that's why we did that. So we will plead him. It's either he's in support for all of us to rebuild the party, or he should stay out quietly so that we can all come together and build our party. So moving forward, tomorrow, like I said, we are not expecting much because I think this whole bottom-up and whatever approach that people are trying to paint is quite distinct from what is going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, they are not going to discuss bottom-up approach. Article 13 of the party's constitution clearly states that the National Council will give us the date for flag-bearer election, and that is what they have put out. Currently, the executives from polling station to national executive, their time is not up yet for us to have an election. So whatever the bottom-up approach, that is not what is going to discuss tomorrow. So it's quite a different thing altogether. So I hope tomorrow everything will be successful and we will be able to come back together as a party, rebuild our party, recapture party, and we shouldn't lose focus as a party because the NDC are already doing a lot of bad stuff, but because we've not been able to rebuild and come together.
You want to put yourselves together to be able to counter that.
Definitely. They keep lying about cathedral and what have you. They lied about everything. They lied their way to power. And this is the time for us to come back together, put ourselves together, and let Ghanaians actually know whatever that they said were lies, and we will capture power.
Thank you very much, Mola. Let's move on to Rachel real quick, and then Aaron has the final bite on this.
Okay, you are sucking.
We're pressed with time, so we just want to move on real quick.
Okay, so I also have a little bit to say. You know I don't talk much, but I have something small to say about Dr. Atta Kennedy. So he was making some notion that we are rushing into going into Congress. So if I don't want to sound disrespectful or something.
And you wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, so
just to disagree on the point that you raised.
Constitution. If you check our amendments, we established in 1992, amended in 1998, 2009, August. That was right after election, 2008. Then we amended again 2017, December, right after 2016 elections. So what is wrong in trying to amend in 2025, right after 2024 elections? Secondly, if you look into the Constitution, Article 10 gives the National Congress to meet every once in a year. 2025 is almost going to an end. Have we met? We haven't. So the Constitution actually even gives us the right to meet in 2025, and that is what we are doing. And then thirdly, if we do not go and amend this Constitution, and then you are claiming that we are supposed to vote for certain executives before we make these amendments, the amendment is for people, the delegates that are going to vote for the national or constituency or regional or whatever elections we are going. So if we don't amend it, which delegates are going to vote for the people that you claim we should vote before the amendment should come? Well, that's his... yeah, that's his view, but I think he should go into our constitutions and look into things and understand it more. So tomorrow, my point and my expectation is basically the youth amendments that is being put into consideration. I mean, we should have some form of a youth wing representative in our committees. That is something that we actually lack. So they should look at it. The delegates that are going to stand firm for us, and then pass certain amendment that will
very crucial for the youth of the party.
Youth, because now it is the youth that will actually take the party to whichever victory or whichever stage that we want the party to reach. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Wrapping up with Aaron Asedo quickly.
Desi, I think the Honorable Atta mentioned rightly that he has difficulty in reading recently. So I think, well, that is right. But he's right to see that the party has not gone for all regional conferences. Indeed, that is what our constitution says. Before the national conference, make it body of our party. We should have our constituency conferences, we should have our regional conferences, and 1 month after the last regional conference, we should have a national conference. But indeed, the same constitution says that we have a national council, and what the council does is that it meets intermittent when we have not had our national conference.
Okay.
So between the period we had our national conference last year to this year, National Council runs the party, and it has the power to suspend all those procedures. That has been done. Then again, per Article 13 of our Constitution, it says that 2 months to the national conference, if there is any amendment, you submit it. So Maxwell did that 2 months ahead, and the General Secretary communicated same 1 month to this conference. That is the 18th of July. So I have a copy. That's it to end. I hear people saying that the MPP must come back to together early. You hear our folks in the NDC saying that MPP are good, all those stuff. But I'm reminding them about one thing. The MPP remains the longest and in fact lasting political tradition. It is not today that we are seeing a lot of people departing from the party. It started with Kwame Nkrumah departing from the UGCC. When Buzia was coming in the Second Republic, we saw Joe Appiah
in 30
departing from us to form the Unigov government. In 79, we saw the Pawili and the Victor Usu. In 92, in fact, when we were coming into power in 2000, we saw Reku Brobe leaving our party. In 2007, 2008, we saw Alanche Martin going and coming in. And in 2023, he departed. What makes me feel so confident about the MPP that in all these times, we rose to the occasion, won 2000 election, we rose to the occasion, won 2004 election, we rose to the occasion, came back in 2016 when we had no chairman and secretary. There are 3 people watching me. Let me mention their names. James Makoche.
We don't So you heard from everyone I said
I think I should make it clear. We have an opportunity to vote for 3 people to become our vice chairperson. And I'm saying it on Metro TV that one of the slots, I'm giving it to my brother Maxwell.
Okay, so that's the conversation. So Aaron, thank you very much for coming through. Rachel Amwa and Miller, thank you very much for coming. So this has been the youth corner of our conversation today, and of course it will continue on the socials. Thank you very much for coming through. I can see we have another set coming through after this. So we go.
It's been an exciting conversation. I have enjoyed the youth coming on. Aaron, super guy, Maxwell, and of course our beautiful lady also. A very exciting one. We have another exciting team coming up to join Desmond, and their conversations have been exciting. And I am happy about the fact that how we started it, we mentioned the young people coming up wanting a space, and they have proven what we started.
If you're a political party today and you don't recognize that, the young obviously is taking over. And when I say the young, I don't mean what we determine or what we regard as young. But what over the period political parties have allowed, persons within certain age brackets or age class have allowed to run the party for the longest of time. It's now coming down to the 20s, to the 30s, to the 40s, and maybe 50s if you may. And they have to open up for that because you can, Dr. Zato actually did some analysis with the NDC, and it was, if you reflect, you know that it was so factual that the NDC did not depend so much on, historical antecedents, such that they were able to break off from the power or the dominance of Rawlings and take the party in its own hands and say, well, whatever it is, it's a party, it's a movement, we're moving with or without you. And so I think all political parties that want to be healthy, want to be active, must consider all those factors that are playing now. The youth is coming, another set is coming for some minutes, but let's engage Dr. Smart Sample.
Right. He's still on
Zoom. Doc, thank you for your time. Thank you for waiting. Some more, information you want to add to what has just been, what has just transpired?
Well, so it's a very simple exercise, God willing, tomorrow. They have to amend the constitution as the Okwe committee especially recommended. And I mean, just to clarify, by 18th of June, the circular was out. I saw one on social media, and so
18th June.
I think they
That's
have
over a month
satisfied that
ago.
constitutional requirement of 1 month. I am sure all those concerned, and I've heard in this week especially, most of the talk shows MPP people sat on confirmed that at their constituency level, they've met to discuss the proposals and they have a position on it going into Congress, God willing, tomorrow. And so for those who matter, I'm very, very sure they are ready for tomorrow's Congress. What excites me of all the things they are going to discuss would be the possible expansion that will come at the various structures of the party so that more people are given opportunity to be part of decision making within the party. Then the other thing that excites me is if amendment goes through, the arrangement that if the party is in government, the president or government must hold quarterly meetings with party. In fact, one of the things that the MPP needed to improve upon getting into 2024 was the relationship between government and party. The disconnect was just too much. Even in 2020, there was some level of disconnect where a party cannot claim, a constituency, a member of parliament cannot claim free SHS because it's government arrangement, and everything was centralized so much so that those at the grassroots were kind of, the disconnect was just too much. So these two amendments are what I'm looking out for, along with others that I couldn't go through much, but at least these two catches my eye. And I think it is something that if they get it
When
right,
you say,
it's going
Prof,
to
when you say that, I'm sorry, Prof, when you say that the disconnect was too much, the disconnect in terms of disconnecting from grassroots supporters of the party or disconnect from the Ghanaian people?
So within the party and government, it is the party that gives birth to government, as we know. But when the disconnect comes, the party kind of do not get involved in the government programs and arrangements. So a minister may be in a constituency to perhaps undertake an exercise, and the party is not part of the movement. So the minister may take the glory, but the disconnect will disfavor or it will go against the party because, and there were a lot of examples where CEOs will be undertaking projects and party people are not linked to it. So it goes more like the government's achievement or the CEO's achievement,
Prof,
or the minister's achievement
it's
without the
difficult to
party
say.
benefiting.
Yes. Prof, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
I'm
you.
buttressing your point. It's difficult to say and mention names, but I went to some, I think I shared this with you during December election analysis. I went to some constituencies and, in fact, districts and regions where delegates, party executives at the constituency level were complaining that since their members of parliament got appointments as ministers and so on and so forth, they don't see them, even the executives. So the disconnect was very much high.
Yes, and people have not averted their minds to that. So delegates who are moving to Accra or Legon tomorrow, kindly check that. I think it is one thing that would help build your party, especially if your party is in government.
Right.
Anytime there's a disconnect between government and party, the party loses.
But have you started your polls yet? That's the very last question in 30 seconds. Your polls yet on who wins the presidential primaries?
I am done with my sampling for what I call the midterm review.
Okay.
I want to see public perception of activities that has gone on, socio-political activities that has gone on within the first 6 months of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama.
Right.
So my sampling is ready, and we will be launching into the various constituencies in the coming days.
We'll be expecting to see that. We'll be expecting to see that very soon. But thank you very much, Prof. So Prof is the Director, Research and Innovation at K2U, Professor Smart Sapon, and he is a pollster as well. I think we can now go to Desmond. Right, so the next team is coming up, and I know that it's also a team of fire. If you enjoyed the first team, I am sure you will with this one. Desmond, what do we have coming up?
Yes, I can see we have a second set for this youth quarter conversation on the NPP Delegates Conference. And joining me now, I have Prince Apia Dankwa, TESCON President for the University of Ghana, seated here with me, just on my immediate left. Also, Eunice Donko is Women's Commissioner for TESCON at the University of Ghana. And also, we have former TESCON presidents for the University of Cape Coast here, Justice Akwesi Owusu. Ladies and gentlemen, yes.
So I think that we can leave the platform for you now, you and your team. Thank you very much.
Definitely. We're going to have our take on what to expect tomorrow at the conference at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. So to the host team, if I'll put it like that. So Prince, you're TESCON president. How's campus been the buzz towards this? And as TESCON president, have you mobilized yourselves on campus to be part of this?
Well, thank you very much, Desmond. It is a very good privilege that I've had to be a part of this program. I would first of all say that the momentum is very high as far as the conference is concerned, and then it's coming up tomorrow. University of Ghana students, especially the TESCON fraternity, is actually expecting a lot of things from our delegates who, by the Constitution or by virtue of the Constitution, they are mandated to represent all of us, of which I am a part of, because per the Constitution, every TESCON institution is to be represented by just one person, of which the president gets the opportunity to.
That slot, okay.
Yes. And so we are expecting a lot. But then, quick one. One of the things that I am expecting is that I have stated this emphatically clear on every platform that I've gotten the opportunity to speak, that I do not agree with the top-down approach.
You do not agree with the top-down approach?
Yes, as a TESCON president and then as someone who is part of the intellectual wing of the party, I do not believe in the top-down approach. And then my reasons are simple. We've seen that even some people, some party leaders of our party, like party leaders in the New Patriotic Party, has said a lot about this whole top-down approach. Someone like Honorable Boacheja, who is a former aspirant in terms of the presidential election, has said that, I mean, we cannot build a party starting from roofing. And then that is the gospel truth. I've known NPP to be a party that built its party from the base. And then you could see that we start our elections by electing our polling station executives, from there to our electoral area coordinators, and then also constituency, region, and then now to national. And so I do not know the reason why currently we have to elect flag bearer first. I mean, the party or the National Executive Committee may have good reasons for doing that. But then I think that at this moment where the party has lost, I mean, we've lost over 1.7 million votes. Our own people, about 2.1 million, did not come out to vote. And so that means that there's a question in the party. I mean, there are a lot of things that the party needs to address.
Okay.
And so I think that the party should sit down and then also, I mean, try and then build our base before we go into the presidential election. And so that's one. As I said, the
so
momentum is very high. Yes, I do not believe that
the top
to down approach will help. We should rather build our base. And then I think that we will,
and that would help the party.
Yes,
that's what you think.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to get to Eunice in a bit, but we understand Dr. Arthur Kennedy is back on to just wrap up his thoughts there. I get to Eunice, and then Justice can also speak. So Annie, quickly speak to Dr. Arthur Kennedy. And
sure, Desmond. Thank you. Earlier on, we were trying to get him, and I think he was not audible. So, Doc, you're welcome back. Thank you for your time. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear
you. Great.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So a few criticisms, in the studio about your continuous tearing down of the party, for want of better expression. That is what has been used to, describe your continuous criticisms. Let me find out, are you still a member of the party? Have you heard the criticism that you're no more a member? And did you get the chance to send proposals to the NEC or to the committee that were putting together all proposals that, were being received to help make the party better? And how did you do that?
Madam, you yourself invited me as a leading MPP member. So to invite me in that vein and then come on air and ask me this question is a little disingenuous. Yes, I'm a party member. And yes, I have submitted proposals verbally to a lot of seniors in the party who reach out to me. I've actually also submitted written proposals to the Constitutional Review Committee set up by President Mahama, because I believe party reforms must not just be within one party. It should be done across board. So, for example, if we want to demonetize our politics, it is not an MPP or NDC problem. We need to solve it nationally. And I have sent a proposal. And if you like, I can elaborate on that. To the Constitutional Review Committee chaired by Professor Prempe. Not only that, I've held conversations with people in the party who have relayed my concerns all across to the MPP Constitutional Review Committee, and I've gotten feedback from them.
So you may say it's disingenuous, but we've had criticism from persons from your party based on which this question is coming. And if you actually listened in to policy analysts in the studio, to Dr. Smartsapon, who was also, Professor Smartsapon, who was also on Zoom with you, they are all not happy with your continuous criticism. So all of them seem to be wondering how you...
So they raised points.
Yes.
Let me answer those points. For example, the people who spoke, I don't know some of them. Somebody, for example, said that while we were in opposition for 8 years, I was always criticizing the party.
Yes, that's Dr. Zato.
I want to make sure that I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he says that out of ignorance. For example, in the time that we were in opposition, when the NDC people attacked JB Dankwa, when his own family was silent, I defended him vigorously on air and on the record. When they said Nana Akufo-Addo was too old, I wrote an opinion piece that was widely circulated in defense of age and effectiveness in leadership, and he reached out to thank me for it. So for people to say that I never said anything positive is wrong. And when he became president, during interviews, I lauded him for solving the Dabon problem. I lauded him for starting the, what do they call it, free SHS program. And in addition to that, if you ask Nana Santibedietu, I sent him proposals repeatedly. And sometimes he reached back to discuss them with me. So the fact that you don't hear that in public doesn't mean I don't do them. It comes out of ignorance. Then finally, somebody, for example, said, oh, the National Executive Committee has put forward proposals, and they said this thing has been circulated on platforms for women organizer and for youth organizer. I'm not a member of any of those groups. And I'm telling you, I'm on about 3 MPP groups, and I never saw those proposals circulated on them. And I reached out to a number of people in MPP who I believe ought to know, and they didn't have knowledge of that. But having said that, after all, tomorrow's Congress is going to vote on proposals. As a party member, I have a right to try and influence those who are going to vote. And I put out my views so that they will know my views, just as the young man here so eloquently shared his view. Why is it that as a Democratic Party, anybody will be annoyed with me trying to influence a national delegates conference so they will take my view?
All right. Doc, we'll leave it here. I'm grateful for your time. We're told that you have a very short time with us. So thank you. We'll engage you again, I'm sure, after this conference. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much. Dr. Arthur Kennedy there, obviously disagreeing with some of the opinions and also sharing facts why he thinks that the opinions shared on his criticisms are untrue. Desmond, I think I'll leave it with you so that you finish up with the next team that you have, and then we can wrap up eventually.
Yeah, definitely. We have a few minutes to go on, so just head on straight to Eunice Donko. Of course, we don't have so much time, so I just need you to put everything together for us, for the ladies on campus, the women on campus, that you are their leader. What are they looking forward to? And also your thoughts for tomorrow's conference.
Okay, I would like to thank your viewers. And also, with my point of view, I would love that the amendment of the women organizers proposal will be established, because we, the young ones, right now we have like 14% of females in parliament, and we, the young ones, look up to these people. And as these amendments of the women organizer is popping up, it will give young people the opportunity to express their rights and also understand what politics really about. And also with a top-bottom approach, I believe is the best alternative, because looking at how the party is now, because there is no leader, there are decisions that are things that people are doing that do not conform with the party's value and objectives. So choosing a leader from top-bottom approach is one of the best initiatives. And I know that the NEC comprises of people with wisdom, people that are passionate about the party, and they wouldn't make any decision that would diminish the party or send the party to a ditch. So I believe that there are alternatives.
So you believe in the top-bottom approach. So in this case, you don't agree with your president.
Yes,
that's fine. Let's go to Justice. Justice, time is fast spent, so I'll just beg you to do that for us quickly.
I'll do that, sure. So I'd like to say good evening to all your viewers and then all Ghanaians watching us from across the globe.
So, can you speak into the microphone? Yeah, great.
Okay. Yes. So regarding the top-bottom approach, I don't know, is that the topic now you are discussing?
No, I mean, I'm just asking about the expectations for tomorrow.
So for tomorrow, I'm expecting the lawmakers, when it comes to the New Patriotic Party, that is all delegates, to have a say, and then just as is being laid down, give us what we need to take the party forward. I'm actually expecting a very peaceful and calm process. We should be done in no time, and then so everybody can go back to wherever they came from. And then this particular process is very essential when it comes to our political party, because for NPP, where we are now, we stand at a crossroad of moving forward and then falling back.
Okay.
Yes. So this is a step that is very vital to revitalize the party and then take us to the next step. That is why some of us are in support of the decision by the NEC when it comes to a particular one like the top-to-down approach. Because looking at where we are now...
In 30 seconds.
Exactly. There's a lot of fights and then a lot of divisions within we, the youth, and then up there. So when we have one particular leader, everybody is then automatically supposed to support whoever the party has chosen.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. And then I would like to say hello to DMB Pulse. I'm actually a member of DMB Pulse.
Okay.
And then I'd like to say hi to
when it gets there, you do the vote seat. We'll definitely come to campus and do yes, we'll definitely do this again.
Yes. Elections, we'll bring them back.
So we'll have this conversation.
That will be a point of debate.
Right. So we'll have the opportunity.
Yes, we'll definitely do that. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You definitely come back for this conversation. So Justice Akwesi Owusu, former Tescon UCC President, Eunice Donko, current Women's Commissioner for Tescon University of Ghana, and also the President for Tescon University of Ghana, Prince Apia Dankwa. Thank you very much for coming through. That's it from me, Desmond Okrekudan. So handing over to Annie and Akwesi. Definitely, it's a wrap for the night.
It is.
Tomorrow, we're back here.
So it's going to start, Metro is going to start the day with Moro will do, of course. Inside Pages will take over with your Election Central, and we'll discuss all the matters also. We'll unpack everything new coming up. The team will be on the Legon Stadium where the event is happening, and we'll come through with every breaking story that will unfold there. Get ready for surprises, get ready for a normal day. I just hope that it will start on time, end of time. Our airtime is for sale.
It won't. We have to be very... I mean, it hasn't...
Yeah, but we have to learn. Yeah, we have to learn from some of these things. We have to learn.
I'm not too sure, because sometimes it's not even the organizers or the executives, but the people, the delegates moving from their...
But that's why they all converge. That's why they all converge. We are only in Greater Accra here. You don't have an excuse. Please get to the the stadium early, and let's start early and all go home early and have some rest. So we'll draw the curtain here.
Exactly.
My colleague, thank you.
Right.
Desmond and the team, thank you. Oh yes,
a lot of comments there.
Yes. I'm sure maybe tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow will start, and then we'll come later in the day, and we'll bring you some more updates. So we'll try, Desmond. I'm sure you'll capture some of the comments on YouTube and all. Thanks for watching.
And for all of you who sent us messages that we were not able to read, still thank you all very much. My name is Kwesi Afri, and of course we did this with
Annie Efo Ampofo. wanted me to add it.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step.
The journey continues, but becoming that phenomenal lady doesn't happen in a day.
It takes courage and refusing to settle for less.
This season, on the PL show, it gets much more diverse.
Engaging and impactful. This is the PL show.
We paint the perfect picture of pain, sleepless nights, hard work, and of course, the ultimate breathtaking view from the mountaintop, success.
Successful ladies from all walks of life doing amazing things and positively effective change in their respective fields.
And as you know, we share all these with you, our ardent follower, to help you navigate that journey and also come out strong and phenomenal.
This is the PL show.
It's brought to you by Kale Charcoal, Kale 360, and Kale Kids Toothpaste.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Say Yema will soon. Yema will soon. Yes, you. Yes, you. Say free, say why be? Why be? I'm a minute. Why be? Yes, 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 you. Say why be? You're standing up for you and me. Say, every say wash it.
Believers pledge. This is our prayer unto God that we will finish the race set before us. Hallelujah. We have to finish and finish well. We have to finish in victory. We have to finish that the Lord will say, well done. Well done, good and faithful servant. We seek your glory and nothing else. We've come together as one to serve. The self is dead, pride crucified. We will arise, servants of Christ. Where the Master trod, there we will tread. We labor on